Hello, 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 hello. Mic, my mic is working. All right, that's the first good thing. That's a little too bright. Oh boy. What's up, Psycho? I gotta let the Discord know that I'm streaming this. Hold up. I got face cam mode. Jesus, that's bright. Okay, hold up. Hey, what's good, Akon? What's up, T Lab 2? Um, Give me a second. I'm sharing this to the Discord. I don't even know you had a Discord twin. I would have joined. Yeah, I can actually put that in chat. Give me 1 second. Uh, and I'm gonna go ahead and join the Discord thing. So, if y'all don't know, a couple of days ago, me and Colin ended up streaming a disagreement day. Well, he was doing a disagreement day, and I happened to be a part of it. Um, I've been being here long though. I'm editing Spidey pull clip combo montage from Marvel Rivals. No problem, gang. It's all good. Where's my Discord link? Here, if you want to join. There we go. All right, but Colin's gonna be here
I recently made a video on
soon.
Christopher.
Oh, my bad. Let me go ahead and change this. So, if y'all don't know, a few days ago, um, me and Colin and I had reacted to this YouTuber. He goes by the name of, I don't want to mispronounce it, but it's Mo Kara. I think it's how you say it, Mo Kara.
Can you hear me?
Oh, he's already up in here. What's up, man? I'm streaming right now.
No. All right, hold up, wait. Don't start the video, y'all. I'm gonna be home in like literally 10
I
minutes.
I'm not starting the video. I found something else I wanted to show to my stream first before
Oh, all right.
yeah, we got too deep into it. But so to give y'all some background, me and Colin ended up.
I'm driving, so
All right, no problem. So to give everybody some context, we reacted to a video that he made about the Odyssey. So I'm gonna give you a general kind of assessment of like my personal thoughts when it comes to this movie and the gist of my problem when it came to his criticisms regarding it. So I have an issue when people end up talking about film or media in a way that's only relegated to these cultural or superficial problems about a film. And when I say culture, I'm going to be very specific in calling it cultural, okay? Because a lot of times people that grift and that try to virtue signal and get you to feel bad or weird about liking a movie for elements that don't have to do with politics and race and culture and things like that, they would like to present it as a cultural argument. However, they use everything to support that argument related to race. And my problem with that is that a lot of people don't understand race and culture are not the same thing. They are just not equivalent. Can they be interlinked in some cases? Absolutely. Like it would be foolish to say that race and culture cannot be connected to some degree. However, they are not the same and they are not interchangeable terms. And so what had happened was we watched a video about why the Odyssey failed when it came to cultural representation. I'm going to say that again. This was a video about why the Odyssey failed in cultural representation, regardless of its box office success. That is the video that we watched, and that is how it was presented to me, that this was about cultural representation and why that was not respected in the Odyssey, regardless of the fact that it made a lot of money at the box office. All right. So the nitty gritty that it came down to is we watched this video where the guy claims it's about cultural representation and how that was not respected. Yet all of the points that he uses to back up why the cultural representation was a failure in his film all has something to do with race. Race and its depiction in media, in film, and in stories where it's not even a considerable factor into how the plot lays out. That was my biggest issue. How can we criticize a director for using his qualities as an artist? He is an artist, film is an art form, to make interpretive changes to a story and an adaptation that changes the race of characters when race, one, was not important to that original story, and two, does not have anything to do with the cultural representation. That's what we watched. So Colin's going to end up coming in here because he made a response video to our live stream turned into video by Colin because he posted a video on his channel. But it was a stream. We initially made it a stream, a disagreement day. And that's what we're going to watch later. But if there's anybody that watched the original, I ended up doing a lot more digging about this guy when it comes to his thoughts, opinions, and his ideologies regarding films. So I'm gonna play something that I thought was funny. Okay, so this video is about the Odyssey as well. It came out a month ago, 1 month ago, and I want you guys to kind of pick up. Sorry, that's my phone going off. To listen to some of the things and the qualities that he brings to this. This initial video. Again, the movie had not come out at this time, but this was his initial thoughts regarding the Odyssey and why it was way worse than he could have imagined. Okay, I just want you to hear his initial points on this.
Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. I recently made a video on Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, and to be completely fair with you guys, it was a very surface level take. It was based on the trailer, some of the cast
It's still a surface level take, but we will continue.
decisions, and some of the rumors that I heard about it online. And I gave my honest opinion about it and just how I felt about the direction of it. But after reading some of the comments, I realized, how can I accurately judge Christopher Nolan's Odyssey without actually understanding the story of the Odyssey and its significance to the Greek culture? So over the past couple of days,
So notice how he says, I have to understand the story of the Odyssey. What's up, Elwood? How you doing, gang? I have to understand the story of the Odyssey. Okay? Before I can give anything accurate when it comes to how significant it is to Greek culture. Okay, so let's see what he has to say about understanding the story of the Odyssey.
I've been doing a lot of digging to be able to gather more context and understand the characters, the lore, and everything that is involved with this story. And I realized that the Odyssey isn't just another regular story. It's one of the most influential pieces of literature in history.
It is.
And from what I've seen with how Christopher Nolan is adapting this story, I see why people are pissed off. Truly see why people are pissed off.
Whoa! We already see why people are upset about the Odyssey's adaptation with the story, even though the story hasn't yet come out. Okay, that's just one small point. So we already have a problem with the story. Let's see what he says about the story. That's such a problem.
Because it's an absolute slap in the face to the Greek culture.
An absolute slap in the face to Greek culture. Let's see what he says about that. I'm making a video about the guy.
Before I start this video, I want to thank Metatron. Bro, thank you so much for the opportunity to what I have to be this journey on YouTube. Thank you so much for that. And for the people that came here, I want to thank every single shot at the fact that I was just
Just get to the
and
video.
resonate with people front
Come on.
to gain an audience, right?
Come
You
on.
and
Come on.
I'm glad that you guys are joining this journey with me. But nonetheless, let's get back to the meat and potatoes. We're going to be
All right, meat and
talking about
potatoes.
4 main things that pertain to this situation. First thing that we all got to address here, that's one of the most glaring things about Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, is the fact that Lupita Nyong'o is playing Helen of Troy.
So this is one of the most glaring issues with the movie, that Lupita Nyong'o is playing Helen of Troy. Let's see what he says is so bad about this. Abiola, what's up, gang? Said he won't believe the Odyssey movie that came out in the 90s had 0 Greek people. I assure you he'd be so devastated if he found that out. But let's keep going. Let's see what he says about the problem with Lupita Nyong'o playing Helen of Troy.
First heard about this, I didn't really know who Helen of Troy was, or what she represented in the Odyssey and the other literature like the Iliad, but I didn't need to know about her history to know that she's a European woman, and the fact that Christopher Nolan is casting a black woman to play her was wrong.
So what did he say initially? That there were things that he learned about the story, that if I'm going to accurately critique this movie and how it represents the culture of the Odyssey, that I really need to dive deep with the story and have a good fundamental understanding of how this plot influences so many people. Helen of Troy being played by Lupita Nyong'o is apparently egregious to the cultural representation of the film because her race is black. The last time that I checked, race and culture are not the same thing. I can be black and still represent Greek culture. I can have a Mexican expression, a Hispanic expression. I could look whatever, and represent Greek culture respectfully in the right way. He said Brad Pitt isn't Greek and he gave an all-timer performance as Achilles. I would agree with you, Abiola. Troy was an amazing movie. It's one of my mom's favorite movies of all time. I love Troy. Tom Holland is British and his acting is American in Spider-Man. You're right. You're right. But I just want to focus. He said culture. And I wanted to show y'all something real quick. Because again, I wanted to do a lot more research about this guy. And just to make sure that I was really foundational with like what I knew and the topics that I was covering, to make sure I wasn't coming from a place of ignorance. So I looked it up. This is the original thing that I typed in my Google search. And you can say, oh, it's Bing, whatever. Fine. Do your own research and look it up for yourself. All right. So I looked up the definition of culture. Culture says, by definition, hold up. Let me blow this up some more. By definition, the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. Okay, that's one definition. The customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group. The cultivation of bacteria to. Okay. Not that one, obviously. But I'm looking at this, right? Similar to civilization, society, way of life, painting, music, literature, the arts. In all of these interpretations of culture, it seems to be about collective expressionism. Does this have to be what skin color you have? No, it does not. I can still reflect Greek culture and be a black woman. Or to his point, I can be a European and still be a black woman, because race doesn't have anything to do with culture. It's not interchangeable, right? So when I'm looking at this video and he has a problem with how it affects the culture of the Odyssey, I would ask again, how does her skin color defeat that? How does that take away from that? Because I don't really understand. That's not really clicking with me. Okay, she's black. And what about it? That's just my question. But I'm gonna let him keep going. He may have something to tell me because again, you're gonna see later, he has a problem with me not watching his whole video. So I'm gonna watch more to see what he has to say about culture and race.
All right, like I just feel like it's just common sense. All right, I mean, I bring up the fact that we don't want Ryan Gosling playing as a Black Panther in my previous video, and I stand on that. I remember when
I would ask, why wouldn't you want Ryan Gosling playing as Black Panther? Because even though I'd agree with you, we wouldn't have the same reasoning for feeling that way. I feel like my reason for why Ryan Gosling should not play T'Challa in Black Panther is a completely different reason than why you believe he shouldn't play Black Panther. I'm almost willing to bet my entire life savings on that assumption.
news of the Black Panther came out and they casted Chadwick Boseman as the Black Panther, as T'Challa. And I was pissed the fuck off. As a second generation African myself, the Black Panther is literally the only superhero that I can actually resonate with on a cultural level, okay? And when they casted Chadwick, rest in peace to Chadwick, we love him. He is absolutely a phenomenal actor. But when they casted him as Black Panther and didn't cast someone that's actually of recent African descent, I'm like, what the fuck, Marvel? Like, dead ass? Like, I felt disrespected.
If that is truly how he feels, I think that's the only good argument that he could have made for cultural representation because you would want someone from Africa to have a good sense of depicting what that looks like on screen. I think that's perfectly fine. That's the one good example that you have ever given me in both of your videos for why you would be upset with whoever playing whoever in a movie that has a strong connection to cultural depiction and how culture is supposed to be represented in film. That's fine. That's completely fine. Until you start talking about race. But I can kind of understand that. I can kind of get that. Do I feel disrespected? No, I'm not particularly African. I don't practice that in my household. Okay? I'm African probably by heritage, by history, by ancestry. Sure, absolutely. But I don't know how far my family goes back past slavery. That's something that I have no connection to. My household has never taught it. We don't know specifically where we come from in Africa. I don't know, like, if I'm Nigerian. I don't know if I'm from Djibouti. I don't know if I'm Congo. I don't know. I would have no way of knowing. So my culture just comes from how Black people, specifically, sorry, in an urban environment in South America, the southern parts of the United States of America. That's pretty much it. You said you're my Nigerian brother, broski. I would have no way of knowing what's up. Oh, there's a lot of people coming in through. What's up, Son Toku? Either people care too much or not enough. There will always outliers on both sides for their own biased reasonings. There's no winning. There could be. That's a general statement, but there's some merit to that. What's up, Cash Money guys? I haven't seen you in a minute, bro. How you been, gang? Uh, what's up, Kaizen? How you doing? All right, but again, to say if he was really upset with Chadwick Boseman not being African, maybe he has some credence there. But I would say, how could you know that Chadwick Boseman, as somebody that maybe is not an African native, to not have anything that resembles the culture of that film, if that's really important for that film? Because again, like you say, you're, you know, a second generation African. Or did you say second generation African immigrant? But he has some ties to it, but I would imagine doesn't currently live in Africa. but he still has some ties to it, right? So imagine how disrespectful that could be to Chadwick Boseman, assuming he doesn't know everything about him personally, to then go ahead and say, "How could you know?" You know, how are we going to invalidate Chadwick Boseman's African heritage? I don't know how important that is to him. I don't know how significant that is to his upbringing. I would only be assuming, but that's just my 2 cents. However, I could see that baseline point having some merit, right? You'd want an African to play an African. Okay, fine.
Stole it from me, Carmine. They took it. That was today. Today.
Like
You call it a slap in the face.
I felt like they took my moment from me. Like I really felt like they took that away from the African culture. It was just absolutely disingenuous. Granted, I think Chadwick did a really good job of playing the Black Panther and T'Challa and filled those shoes, and so glad that he did it. But to say that there aren't other people that also have cultures and want the cultural representation depicted accurately, that can also feel the same way that I felt when they casted Chadwick as the Black Panther, and shit, at least he was black, right?
What does that have to do with anything? You said at least he was black, as if that was a qualifier for culture. Oh, here he goes. Collins here. So I would just want to ask you, Mo, why did that have to be the special modifier for you to be like, I'm a little tolerant of what they did here?
Started watching the video?
No, this is a completely different video, but it goes to reflect some of the points that I'm going to talk about later, because I did watch it again and I still have the same complaints about it. But again, race is not culture, Mo. They're not the same. Can they be linked? Sure. But they're not interchangeable. You cannot use race and culture to start talking about cultural representation and keep using that same word like they're qualifiable. It's not the case. Chadwick being black is important for this movie because T'Challa, for his arc, has to be black. But does that mean from any black person from any nationality can't play him? No, they absolutely could. Whoa, I'm not done. I'm not done because I've been he got on to me a lot in his response video, and you're gonna see that this is I saw this video came out before the video I saw, and it just goes to show how egregious and bad faith this person is, because I can tell you with confidence, Chadwick Boseman being wherever he's from has nothing to do with him possibly being a disrespectful person to represent culture. Because culture can be celebrated by anybody and be respected by anybody, just as it can be disrespected by anybody. But to determine that, you would have to look at the content and not his appearance. Judge him by the content of his work. That's why you're not upset with his depiction, because he did a good job in the role. But if he didn't do a good job in the role, then you might be able to say that he disrespected your culture. But until you get to that point, you're shooting at stars. And that's my problem with all of this, is because you keep using race like it's culture and talking about things that don't qualify culture. Because culture is character. Culture is your, again, I can go back to the freaking definition that I got up on the stream. What did I say? Arts, customs, social institutions, achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group, not racial group, social group. Do you understand that, Mo? Do you get the difference between social and racial? Because again, I can be black and be in a culture of a myriad of different looking people. It is not exclusive to just my skin color. That's what I'm trying to communicate to you. And he does go off into this point. But since you're here, Colin, are you ready to watch this response video? Because I have points on points on points.
I hear you. Let me just make this thumbnail.
This dude has to be like, I initially did not think he was malicious, but after watching this video, I have like, there's no way that I'm going to hold back on what I got to say to this guy. Or rather, in that case, it was a joke in itself. Akon, that's a great point. That's a great point. Culture does not have to be defined by how you look. It's about understanding customs, how people behave, how people have certain traditions. It's not a barrier of entry for you to have a certain race or depiction that you physically cannot control.
You know what I think a real good description of it is? I think race is more of a stereotype to culture than the other way around.
You said race is more of a stereotype to culture.
So, yeah, so like when you think of Africa, most of the time you're gonna think of like someone that's black, but like in the case of what the Mo guy was doing, but you don't have to be black. Like we talked about last stream, like you don't have to be black and from Africa. So I think he himself, whether like he realized it or not, I feel like it's kind of a stereotypical way to look at it.
Yeah, that is true. But again, it goes on to some deeper reasons as to why I really think that this guy does not understand what he's talking about, like at all. And he very much tries to present himself as somebody that does. But I promise you, when y'all watch this video that I'm about to show you, you will. I'm not even gonna pause that much or try. Well, let me not say that. I can't make that promise. But I jokingly said in the post that I wasn't gonna watch the whole thing. For your appeasement, Mo, even if Colin leaves, I will watch the whole thing on my stream to then show you with extensivity why you still don't make any sense. Just to show you that you don't know what you're talking about. And the more you talk, you just sound bigoted. And I don't like bigoted people that just choose to be bigoted. Because I did a lot of research. I'm a teacher. I am an educator. Literally, it's in my job description. I saw another video that had a completely different take from someone that is from the Greek culture, have a very, very insightful take on how Christopher Nolan's Odyssey worked and talks more so to what you should have talked about in the video, which is the content of the story and the character arcs and the themes, rather than talking about how a certain actor looks and their skin color. Oh my goodness. All right. So, let me go ahead and yeah, I'm gonna share it to you. I'm gonna share this screen. Okay. So I'm gonna go to. That's fine. I'm gonna go to the initial one. So this is the one that we're mainly going to watch. This is the response video. I'm going to just let you know, Colin. I have a lot to say about this.
I hear you.
And I want to preface this by saying I have watched all of his videos, every video that I'm going to show you today. I have watched all of them in its entirety. So, Colin, I would like to speak at length about some of the things that he brings up in these videos because I think if anybody has a right to, it will be me. You will see it later, but I've watched the Odyssey, I've read the Odyssey, and I've watched all your videos from front to back. I have the right to comment on what you said. And so I will tell you right now, I will make this claim. Even after watching every single thing, every minute of your video, Mo, you are still wrong. Loud and wrong.
Well, I want to get some prefaces real quick before we my mic isn't muted. I swear every time I start my stream, I'll be like, yeah, I can't hear you. All right, but so some prefaces real quick. So this guy made a community note. He watched like the shortened version of the last stream that we did. He made a community note, and I left a comment. I was like, if you felt like me and Sony disrespected your video, that wasn't our intention. You can feel free to come on the stream and talk about it if you want. He deleted that comment, and then he left a comment under my video saying you guys are cooked or whatever. I forget the exact wording he said, but he's like, yeah, you guys are cooked. You're done for. Like this response was so bad. So I'm not here to start beef with nobody. I don't really care. I think Sony's got more beef with this guy than me. Like the only reason I even know this video exists is because of Sony.
Yes.
But with that said, his points were very stupid. I had comments under that video of people trying to say that we were being ignorant or not really listening to his points. So we're listening to his response to his own video. So let's see if it really,
Okay. All right. And just since Mo's so upset about this. I'm going to watch the whole thing. I've already watched the whole thing. I've watched it multiple times, and I have.
I can't promise I'll watch the whole thing because it is an hour long. However,
Hold up, they said you're
Sony,
quiet.
Sony is also streaming, so if you guys want to, if I end my stream, you can go to Sony's stream.
Colin, talk a little bit.
Wait, can you not hear me?
I was just making sure my stream could hear you. I think you're good now. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and press play. To my chat and Colin's chat, I just want to let y'all know I am going to absolutely dismantle every single thing that this guy says because I have a lot of problems with this video. I had a lot of problems that he still does not understand from my previous video, and I'm going to cover it. So yeah, that's it.
Have put this inside their curriculum. So when Greek people say they have a deeper connection to the
Wait. Your shit is echoing like crazy.
What did I do?
Are you sharing your stream?
Oh, my bad. I did the wrong.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm gonna change
Wait,
it.
what happened? In the
Okay.
time zone I'm in, it's almost midnight.
All right.
So that
Is this better?
generations of Americans have put this inside their curriculum. So when Greek people say
Is that better?
Wait, play it again.
they have a deeper connection to the Odyssey, I'm just really confused
It's
on
not
why there's
echoing anymore.
All right, cool. All right. All right, we're gonna start from the top.
potential that generations of Americans have put this inside their curriculum. So when Greek people say they have a deeper connection to the Odyssey, I'm just really confused on why there's an issue with that and why
First of all,
that's that.
first of all, oh my god, bro.
I know that's where I flipped. I was like, ain't no way.
You weren't even
Ain't no way.
alive! What are you talking about? Okay, the fucking cultural heritage and the roots of it, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, what matters is the story and how it's told and how it's adapted. Most people weren't fucking even alive, let alone, even if they're Greek and they're in America, like, they're not even from there. They were born in America, but they have Greek roots, like... Yeah. I can't take this transition seriously because last stream someone was like, this is an IG Reels ass transition.
guys, I finally made it. They always say that whenever you're doing something right, especially on social media, you're going to get a lot of trolls and a lot of haters coming at you. So I actually just had my first encounter.
Whoa.
Just keep letting him go. Just keep letting him go.
Nah, I just wanted to make some. First of all, I'm not a hater. Just because I say you're stupid, that doesn't mean I'm a hater. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
With two YouTubers, Collins World and Sunny Symbiotic, who completely made fools of
Sunny
themselves by
Symbiotic.
reacting to my previous video on the Odyssey and me explaining why cultural representation matters. In
Okay,
that
eating
video,
Oreos.
I give a
What?
No, somebody asked me if I was eating Oreos.
personal
I was eating
experience
Oreos.
of how I connected with the Black Panther to display how I could empathize with the Greek people who have a deep emotional connection to the Odyssey and why there's so much controversy about the cultural accuracy when it comes to Christopher Nolan's adaptation.
Cultural accuracy of Christopher Nolan's adaptation should
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
your
wait.
main points were about skin color.
Yes. Exactly. Cultural like the accuracy of the culture depicted in his movie should be focused on the themes, the characters, and the plot. That represents culture, not how a actor or actress looks. That's race. That's not culture. That's race. So you keep bringing that up to try to sound like correct and like all these values. That has nothing to do with what you're claiming it does. Culture is not race.
Instead of actually watching the full 20-minute video to gather as much context and understand the message that I'm saying, Collins World and Sunny Symbiotic watch 5 minutes max and make a 30-minute video
We didn't even watch
making
5 minutes
false
of it.
assumptions.
That's not even what we did. We watched the first 5 minutes of the video, then we watched like his minute and a half review of the movie. Then we watched the other thing he said about the actors, and then what was the other part we watched? I forget.
We didn't watch it. I think I alluded to the language thing, but it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, the language thing. Yeah.
He's
We didn't
going.
watch that
He's
part.
going to watch it, and he's going to bring it up. And even when he brings it up, he will then contradict himself. And I'm going to show you why. It's so,
Conclusions, attacking my intelligence, making condescending remarks for literally no reason.
to be fair to him, condescending remarks were made.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I'm gonna say. Sure, you can have an issue with that.
and not understanding the main message that I'm trying to say. From
That's the problem. I do understand the main message that you're trying to say, but I'm going to give you a reality check that you didn't say it. You said what you think you said. Like in your head, you think you're talking about culture. You're not. You're not. That's my problem with you.
what I gathered, it looks like Sunny Symbiotic is the one that watched the full video beforehand and brought my video to Collins World to review and discuss. This was not in good faith because Sunny Symbiotic simply just wanted to argue a point that I was never arguing in the first place. And
No, you think you were arguing a different point, but you weren't. You weren't. Because if your problem is with culture, why would you have to talk about the color, the skin color of the actors or the actresses? That has nothing to do with the cultural
Yeah,
representation
like
of Greeks.
him bringing up like what he said about Spider-Man, like that completely goes against what you're saying right now, which is what we criticized your first video for. Your words are contradicting the message that you're trying to get across.
Spider-Man, you brought up the Spider-Man comparison as a race comparison. I could not what did you say? What he had a slight disconnect with Spider-Man due to the fact that Ben was white. He looked like Spider-Man. Him looking like Spider-Man is not culture, Mo. That's race. That's just race. And that's the whole point I was trying to explain to you is you had a issue with how the characters looked rather than how they were portrayed or how they acted and emoted, which is what you should have focused on. But since you did it, I'm going to make it very easy and simple for you by breaking down this stupid ass video.
and Collins World basically made assumptions and ignorant conclusions about me and my thoughts, and then tried to tell me how I should feel as an African kid looking at media
Oh my
and
God.
how black and
Pause.
African superhero.
He's gonna virtue signal you
Pause.
hard. But
Yeah, that is a virtue signal like crazy. I don't care what color you are, bro. I said that your media or your view on media is shallow if you feel a disconnect with a character because they're not the same color as you. So
are
That's-
represented. So in this video, I'm going to completely dismantle everything that they said, which is going to be pretty easy for the fact that they didn't even let the video finish to really understand my main thesis and how everything ties in together, and show why some of these people that claim that they're not grifters are literally hypocrites. Because you are trying to
slow your roll there, buddy. You keep playing.
to actually make a productive argument, you would give the other party an opportunity, or at least get as much information as possible so your arguments are concrete. But
I'll be fair. Yes, I didn't watch the whole video. That's fair. However, every part of the video that I did watch was really dumb.
he also
So-
said that he also didn't get an opportunity. But you just told your chat that you put in a comment that was deleted asking to debate it. So if,
That is also true.
yeah,
even get
anyway.
that chance in the reaction video. So without further ado,
Again, I did not have any knowledge that this was even going to get turned into a video. I had this on stream for me. It was my stream idea. I thought it was going to be a fun thing to talk about and discuss. We had other people come into the actual chat to
Yeah.
talk about it and discuss. It wasn't like an isolated incident where it was just me and Colin decide, hey, we're going to make a video about this. No, it was a part of a normal stream. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
I mean, I made it into a video because like I do that, but you know that's me.
I mean, hey, it is what it
So-
is. Like regardless of what you did with it, it's like it doesn't change the fact that you did reach out to have a discussion because again, that's your video, and he didn't want to talk. So
let's get
it's-
right into it. As you can see, Collins World has damn near 100,000 subscribers, and then Sunny Symbiotic has 20,000.
Congrats, bro. I'm proud of you, gang.
With someone that barely has 3,000 subscribers, I don't know why this was pressing to talk about or react to
oh
me.
my
but
god. All right, bro. So we've already started out the video with some virtue signaling, and then the whole like him trying to play the victim. Like, I only have 3,000 subscribers, bro. You're a person. I'm a person. The subscriber count on my channel does not matter, bro. If you make a dumb video, I don't care if it got 2 views. Like, if I think you said something stupid and I think I want to respond to it, I'm gonna respond to it, bro. I don't look at YouTube channels as like through size. Pause. Like, it's not the. I mean, I got the great analogy here. Like, it's not the size of the boat. It's the motion of the ocean. You know
Oh
what I
my
mean? But,
god.
so like, I I don't care. I don't care about your channel size, bro. I respond to people smaller than me, bigger than me. It really does not matter, bro. You're a person just like me. I can sit in front of you and have a conversation, and you can sit in front of me and have a conversation, bro.
A guy in my chat says something I completely agree with. He said, "Numbers ain't shit. It's the opinion." And you're absolutely right, Akon. It is about what you said, how you said it, and what you think. Because regardless of how you feel about your size, about like your like audience retention, whatever. If you have an idea that should be challenged, I'm going to challenge it. It's that simple. If you say something that I think is fun, I honestly think what you said even later is actually like a very dangerous ideology to have because it's really steeped in a lot of like closed-minded processes about what art should be, how to adapt things, and like what you should be able to do when it comes to your interpretations, which I think is just it's atrocious. But we're gonna get to that.
I'm a small fry compared to you guys, but it obviously triggered them in some way and they felt the need to talk about me.
Yes, absolutely.
So let's get right into this.
So yesterday, me and one of my friends, Sony Symbiotic, watched this video about the Odyssey, and basically in the video, he makes this comparison to Black Panther, and then he like tries to compare Black Panther and why it's important that Black Panther is the race that he is and adaptations. He tries to put that onto the Odyssey, and then he's confused by like why people are like getting on Greeks, and not even just Greeks, like just people complaining about some of the race or the casting choices for some of the characters. And mind you, this video is so bad that I haven't even watched the Odyssey, and even then I was still able to look at his arguments and be like, yeah, this is very stupid. And his overall view on just representation in media and, you know, needing characters to look like him in order to fully resonate with them is a very shallow view to have on media. And it's not just him, obviously. Like there's a lot of people that have this kind of view, and yeah, that's why I'm making this shortened version of this stream.
We can just go ahead and get started.
This was me in elementary school. As you guys can see, I was a big Spider-Man fan. On the side of me, you can see my good friend Ben, who's also dressed up as Spider-Man. Every year, Ben and I would go trick-or-treating dressed up in our favorite superheroes, and we always had a good time. But underneath the surface, I always felt a slight bit of imposter syndrome whenever I dressed in as these superheroes. Obviously, I didn't know how to explain it back then, and I wasn't thinking about cultural representation, racial identity, or psychology as a kid, but I always felt this slight disconnect with those particular characters. Because when you and your friend are dressing up as these superheroes and your friend shares the complexion of these larger-than-life characters, you have to do a little more work mentally to really put yourself in
Let me stop
the
right
image of
there.
those
Oh
characters.
my god! All right.
Yeah.
You are already looking at media through a completely wrong lens. If you can only, if it's hard for you to resonate with a character because he doesn't have the same skin color as you, that is a problem. You are not looking at media the right way. I'm not even trying. I'm not trying to disregard. I'm not trying to disregard this guy's feelings. Like how he feels is how he feels.
Right there, you could already see that he didn't even let me finish the point and build my argument before he made that assumption. Nobody said that I couldn't connect with a character or a superhero because he's not Black or African. If you had an attention span longer than 3 seconds, you would be able to see that right after that, I explain how there was a slight disconnect with some of these superheroes that I was dressing up as a child. Dressing up as Spider-Man, who is a white superhero, no matter what you say about he wears a mask, I felt a slight disconnect. Because at the end of the day,
I'm gonna keep letting.
half of his story is Peter Parker, not just Spider-Man. Peter.
Okay, yeah. So I let you
All
say.
right, so-
oh, no, I got this. I got
No.
no. I got this. I got this. So Mo, to be nice to you, since you keep bringing this up later, I let you finish your whole point. You just said that you didn't say. You didn't say that you had a disconnect because the character wasn't Black or African. Yet you then go on to say, like he's white. So like you
literally
just said it.
verbatim, I got something for Black Panther that I couldn't get from other white superheroes. Those were your words. So even if you are right in you saying that I didn't finish your whole thing, you still said it, and my response still fits. So
it's like he's like, no, I did not say that. Now let me go on to show you that that's exactly what I said. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm gonna go back for anybody that did not catch that. Listen to what he says.
Nobody said that I couldn't connect with a character or a superhero because he's not Black or African.
Nobody says that I couldn't connect with a superhero because he's not Black or African. Now go on to explain why you could not fully connect with
If you had an
Spider-Man.
attention span
Mind you, I didn't
plane,
even say that.
Right.
Well, mind you, what he just said, like the couldn't connect. Like
Mhm.
I didn't say that he couldn't. I verbatim said fully, which is what he said.
Exactly, fully. So Mo, if you could not, if you're not saying that you can't connect to a character fully based on them not being black or African, please explain to me what what was the point of the Spider-Man comparison? Why did you bring that up, Mo?
how there was a slight disconnect with some of these superheroes that I was dressing up as a child. Dressing up as
Why did you have a disconnect with what the characters you were dressing up with the child, Mo? What was that reason?
Spider-Man, who is a white superhero, no matter what you say about he wears a mask, I felt a slight disconnect.
Because why, Mo? Is it just because he's white? Like this dude is like, oh my gosh. Like you don't say anything else other than the fact that he's white, which is race, not culture.
Because at the end of the day,
Which, you know, if we want to play the virtue signaling game, that is a form of racism.
It is like, oh, like you.
All I'm gonna say, that's a form of racism.
This pops up throughout the whole video. You can make like, bro, get your bread off this because you probably gonna like eat good. Like,
half
oh my
of his
god.
story is Peter Parker, not just Spider-Man. Peter Parker is a teenage white male in America.
Teenage white male in America. So you give me teenage, which is about his age. You give me white male, which is a part of his gender and a part of his race. And then you say America, which is his nationality.
It's like you're forgetting that. Anyone that knows me knows the fact that Spider-Man is literally my favorite superhero.
Okay, so he's your favorite superhero, yet the only slight disconnect that you can bring up apparently is the fact that he's a white male in America. Like, like,
I don't have anything to say. You said it. Like, not really much else to say.
so is it crazy for me when I get on to you about that and I keep on bringing it up that you keep on using race and you act
Well,
like
it
it's
doesn't even. I'm sorry. Hold on. Like, it doesn't even make sense to say. So if you don't feel any disconnect with Black Panther at all, like he said in his original video, then why isn't Black Panther your favorite superhero? There's no disconnect at all. Is it because that Spider-Man has more relatable qualities and things that you latch onto other than his race, which is why race doesn't fucking matter really when it comes to connecting with a character, and the actual character itself is way more important? You're fighting against your own argument. So
I'm gonna let it keep going. But this is just the first of many.
Okay? I won't say I'm a bigger fan than you, but trust me when I say that he's literally my favorite superhero. But there's a difference between loving a superhero for what they represent and who they are and connecting to a different superhero because he represents you on a more accurate representation from your
okay.
So he represents you more for an accurate representation. So he's
What
white
does he represent?
or black. Like that's all you said. You didn't say
Yeah,
anything
literally,
else.
again, it doesn't make sense. If Spider-Man is your favorite character because of those qualities are more important to you, then you just debunked yourself.
He was a teenage white male in America. And he's your favorite superhero. But apparently Black Panther gets your cultural connection down really well. Yet that's like what wasn't there? Like I don't get it.
you on a more accurate representation from your skin color, from your culture.
Okay, I'm glad you separated the two. So skin color and culture. So they're different.
From your background.
Background.
Those are two different things.
Okay, so I didn't know that my background had to do with my skin color or that the fact that my culture had to do with my skin color. So if I was to take that out the way, you would basically be talking about the fact that Peter Parker was a teenager who was a male who was in America. So based off that, if I was going by those three, Mo, you're not in Africa now, I assume. I don't know per se, but I assume you've been a teenager before. I assume you may have possibly lived in America before, and I assume that you're possibly a male. So if I was to get all three of those correct and not have the white part, is it really that bad? Because on the other end of the spectrum, T'Challa is a male, is what is it? He's been a teenager before. and he's black, but he's not American. So it seems like based on quantity, y'all have the same like number. Am I wrong? Black Panther has all of your criteria except for American. I feel like you can relate to being a teenager. You can relate to being I don't know where you live. Maybe it's two things compared to one. But even still, like this seems crazy. Does this not seem crazy? It seems like just a race argument. It's not a culture argument. It's a race argument. But that's just my.
And that's why I connected with the Black Panther on a different level than Spider-Man, even though Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. But you didn't even let me get to my main point before coming to that conclusion that I'm looking at media and superheroes the wrong way as a child. As a child, that is the first thing that you're going to see because you're not thinking about these complex ideas about cultural identity, racial backgrounds or any of that.
Really
You're looking at
what he did as a child. I was talking about what you're holding that point right now. I was arguing against your video right now. So what?
Well, okay.
Whatever.
Playing devil's advocate, he's bringing up that point to talk about the significance of cultural representation, trying to say that if I was a kid looking at a character that's a superhero in a certain media, that if they look like me, that's supposed to mean something. And to be fair, for some people, I can completely understand where that comes from. But my point as to why this does not work, which I kept bringing up in the video, is that you are using this, one, to compare to the Odyssey, but two, missing the fact that you cannot talk about cultural representation and use evidence based on race. This is a race problem. You are more aligned with the fact that T'Challa is black, not that he's anything else, but you keep on trying to cover it up as culture. That's my issue.
at what's right in front of you.
But you're not looking at media the right way if that is the case.
I want you to focus on the fact that he said that this is how he felt when he was a kid. I'm gonna tell y'all straight up, when I loved Spider-Man, I never cared about the fact that I was black and he was white. I didn't care. I learned about this representation stuff years later. Me loving Spider-Man, Spider-Man's my favorite hero. All my top 5 heroes are not black. I don't care. That's just what I grew up with. It did not take for me to have to look like them to love them as characters.
Any movie that I've ever given a 10 out of 10, this is the best kind of representation, is the kind of, whether it's a movie, a video game, any kind of story really, the best kind of real representation are the stories that resonate with things that you've gone through in your life. The reason Spider-Man is my favorite character is because I resonate with the things that he goes through so much. The reason I have, whether it's Whiplash or La La Land, How to Train Your Dragon, the Lego Batman movie, any movie that I've given like a 10 out of 10 is because...
But do you see how oblivious, people like Colin's World can be? The fact that all those people are white characters.
This dude is so like, oh my God. So Mo, I'm gonna reiterate my point again to you. I'm gonna try to really walk you through this road.
Hold on, wait, real quick. Soul is a 10 out of 10 movie. Who's the main character in Soul? A black character.
A black guy.
Shut the fuck up. You're dumb. Oh my God.
Like, if you think the Lego Batman movie is so important as relatability goes because he's white, or Hiccup from How to Train a Dragon, like this is what I'm trying to say. You just keep bringing up race and acting like it's culture. It's not the same. Like even if you go back, look at this list that he goes through. Who did he say?
Going through in your life. The reason Spider-Man is my favorite character.
All right, so Peter Parker, right?
Because I resonate with the things that he goes through so much. The reason I have, whether it's
Okay, Peter Parker, and I forgot his name from Whiplash. But if you're trying to say that, okay,
Whiplash,
he goes on to say La La Land,
and How to Train Your Dragon,
Hiccup,
the Lego Batman movie.
Lego Batman. If you think that they all embody the same culture, you're tripping.
Well, even La La Land, despite the fact that Emma Stone is white, obviously, it's a female. So
I know.
It's still, by his logic, that would be a gender disconnect.
They are all
still a gender disconnect.
They are all white, but they all have different cultural expressions. All of them. Like if you literally think that Hiccup shares any lick of the same culture with anybody, like a Bruce Wayne, do you think Hiccup and Bruce Wayne could have a lot of the same things to talk about culturally?
No.
Like seriously, like yes, they are white, but that's the point. It's not about being white. That's race, Mo. It's culture. Like this guy is so obtuse, bro. Like how can you be so round in the head? Oh my god.
Movie. You know, any movie that I've given like a 10 out of 10 is because bro really.
But do you see
I'm
how
actually dead
oblivious,
because I thought of
people like Collinsworth
like
can
Soul,
be?
like Soul
The
came to
fact
my,
that all those
my head
people,
immediately.
Bro, I would put Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as one of my favorite movies of all time, and they're green.
That's
Like
not
they're
crazy.
green. Like oh
Have
my,
you considered they're played by white actors?
one of them was played by the what was it? The Darwin kid? Isn't he black? The voice
Are you
actor for
talking about
Darwin.
the new TMNT movie?
I'm just saying, like even still, like I didn't see race. They like oh whatever.
are white characters, yeah, you don't have to think about that because your representation has been there from the jump. You don't see that color barrier because it's never something that you had to really think about. That's not your reality, Colin. So to tell me, as an African kid, a
Whatever.
black kid,
I'm just gonna pull up like movies that I've given a 10 out of 10 that feature a black protagonist. Hold on.
Akon said Beta Ray Bill is my favorite Mjolnir wielder.
Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, the Django. I already mentioned Soul. Scroll down. Menace to Society.
Everything,
Boys in the
everywhere,
Hood.
all at once was one of my favorite movies. And
Everything everywhere. That's Asian.
yeah,
but
Asian. I'm just saying,
I'm
like
focusing on black right now. Because that's what he wanted to
this is ridiculous, bro.
go to. But I think the point is pretty clear here.
Yeah, I look, I get it. It's just this dude. Oh, okay.
that I'm worrying about the wrong things is really tone deaf and ignorant because you don't have the perspective of a young black kid growing up here in America and how important it is to have our people, our skin color being represented in media.
Okay, to answer that point,
Oh my God.
hold
I'm
up.
sorry. I hate this shit. Anytime I speak on like racial things, like or any kind of media thing that like has to deal with racial discourse, I hate the you're white so you don't get it.
Yeah,
It's like,
I
bro,
know.
shut
I
up. Like,
Like there, you can be black and have no idea of what it's like to live in Section 8 housing. You can be white and have no earthly idea of what it looks like to live in like abundant wealth and like generational wealth. Like your skin color does not define your cultural practices or your way of life and how you believe and perceive things. Can it have a factor? Absolutely. But to say that this is anything interchangeable or that they can be used in the same token and under the same breath as being the same thing is wild. It's wild, Mo. And like you keep talking as if, oh, okay.
Sonny Symbiote, as a black man, it's really surprising to me that you don't understand the representation of our people, black people, African people, people
oh
of
my
color.
God.
No,
What
no,
is this Nick?
let him go. 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 I'm gonna let him say whatever he has to say to me.
As a black man, it's really surprising to me that you don't understand the representation of our people, black people, African people, people of color in the media landscape and how much of an impact that can make on, our younger generation. You don't think that when little black girls are watching the Disney princesses that they grew up with and they don't see their skin complexion being represented, that subconsciously that doesn't alter the way they view themselves in the world in some capacity?
No, Mo, I don't, which is why I'm on the side arguing for Lupita Nyong'o being able to play Helen. That makes perfect sense, right? Me, the person that does not care about my people having representation, to be for the black actress being able to play Helen of Troy. Yet you on the fence trying to virtue signal and act as if I don't care about black people, trying to argue against Helen having the ability to play Helen. Or sorry, Lupita having the ability to play Helen. So yeah, it makes perfect sense for me to not care about my representation when I'm the person arguing for, like, what?
I just want to bring up another great movie since you mentioned Disney princesses. Princess and the Frog. That's a banger movie right there.
He brings that up later, but he's about to bring it up right now. But you get what I'm trying to say? If I did not care about representation, I would have never argued against you in the first place, Mo.
I wouldn't even fully come at it from the same angle as you. I'm not even gonna.
You don't have to. There's a lot of ways to break down why this is stupid.
Well, yeah, like, even if you want to run with the thinking of like, yeah, when you're a kid, and obviously your view on the world in general is just gonna be more shallow when you're a kid. Like having most of the Disney princesses not be white. It's like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, it would be cool for like different races to be represented in the same way. Which, mind you, there has been Disney projects that do that. But besides the point, you're an adult arguing from a child's perspective. Like,
no. Okay, hold up. No, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I have a problem with him using it for the virtue signal because in my eyes, there's nothing wrong to advocate for the child's experience. I could understand the significance in a young kid.
No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm saying like the argument he's making right now is based from a child's point of view. I'm agreeing that like, yeah, when you're a child, you can think these things or whatever what he's trying to get at. But right now, like what we're arguing about, I'm saying if you're still looking at it from that lens, it is shallow.
I don't think he's doing that.
Which part?
So when you say child's point of view, what do you mean by child's point of view?
Like what he was saying about like this subconscious thing that like sticks with like children that aren't white, watching like the Disney princesses and not seeing themselves or their race. Like,
okay,
that's what he's trying to get at.
Yeah, but yes. Okay, so I do agree with that, but I think he's doing it more so to virtue signal against me, trying to basically say like, why could you not be able to empathize with black children not being able to see their media and entertainment with people that look like them? I think he's trying to make me feel bad and like feel like you should be ashamed of yourself because like that's basically what he's doing. And so I'm to counter that, I'm trying to tell you, I think it's very important for people of all races, however they look, however they're depicted, to be able to see themselves in higher forms of media. Sure. And I think there's ways of going about it that are really respectful to people and cultures and like classes and social groups. And there's ways of doing it that's disrespectful and distasteful, etc. And I don't think that you can use me talking about black people in this instance to qualify your position or to qualify Lupita not being able to play Helen. I think what you're saying versus what you actually argued for are two completely different things that they don't connect at all. And again, I'm arguing that Lupita should have the right to play Helen. You're not. You literally said it earlier in my stream that you think the first thing that stood out to you about the casting was like, it just doesn't make sense for a black woman to play Helen. And so my immediate response is, why, Mo? And then you would say it's because of cultural representation. And I would say, what does her skin color have to do with her cultural representation?
Yep.
Like, it's simple. Like, oh my God, this dude is like, his brainwaves are flaccid. Okay.
Flaccid is wild.
Right, you don't think that's there?
That's a crazy description.
I'm just saying, bro, has no motion.
In some capacity? Right, you don't think that's there? Because
Obviously.
that's why they introduced Princess Tiana from the Princess and the...
Duh, Mo, that's obvious. But what you're saying does not connect with your argument at all. Oh.
Because that representation of our complexion, our people, is important.
You're
and
right.
That emotional connection is there because then they can look at those characters and be like, oh, the representation, the status of princess is not just exclusive to white people.
You're right, Mo. So why is it that when the most beautiful woman of Troy is to be depicted in Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, you have such an immediate problem with it? It was so primal in you that it immediately didn't even make sense without context, mind you. You didn't even need to make the context, like to know more about the story or about the Odyssey in general, its themes, its characters, its plot. You just saw Lupita as Helen and thought that doesn't make sense. So who's really the person that does not care about representation? Because I think if you cared about representation, you would, bro, this guy is, there's no way he can be this obtuse. Like, there's no way. Like, you don't need a degree to understand how hypocritical this is. Like how slow can you be? Oh my God.
Right? So as a black man, the fact that you don't understand that or really get the gist of what I'm trying to say is embarrassing, bro. Genuinely, it's embarrassing.
Damn.
Jovi, I know you.
Bruh. You heard him, bro.
If I'm embarrassing, if I'm embarrassing, you have to be downright pathetic. Like seriously, like the mental gymnastics that you have to do to not consider your own position. Like, you're talking about me when you can't even realize that you denouncing Lupita's ability to play Helen is a part of my core fundamental disagreement with you, because it's not a race. It shouldn't be about race. It shouldn't. And you talking about culture gets convoluted with that message. Like, bro, oh my God, you have some people in your in the general that I think want to talk to you.
Do they want to talk to it? I didn't. This wasn't really like a disagreement thing. Like, cause this video is like hella long, so I don't really.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep it going.
It's muted.
Oh my God, my bad. I got amped.
Good, but it's
Genuinely, it's embarrassing.
only is the writing really good, but it's portraying something that I've been through that I can resonate with while the writing is still like top tier.
I think I can agree with the sentiment that it's not really about the aesthetics of it and more so related to the writing. But the thing that I will say is I would say it's even a bigger feat if you can get me to really like your character if they've gone through something I've never experienced in my life.
That also
I would say that's the bigger feat.
That is also true, but I was more so talking about like when it really comes to representation, the most important, like if you want to feel, feel represented and you want to resonate with a character, why does skin color matter at all?
For sure. Like a lot of, bro, someone in my, oh, that's saying, what's up, Sam? Same lady said my favorite character is a white billionaire. Can totally relate to that.
It matters because that's the first thing that we see as children.
Okay, you're not going to keep using this, bro.
Well,
you're not going to keep using this.
First of all, that depends on the child, to be honest.
Exactly.
Like, really, it does, because like, frankly, I think if your parents like built you up that way, that's something that like that really matters. I think your parents did a bad job, personally.
I'm not gonna say that because I'm not gonna disrespect his parents.
I'm not even trying to disrespect his parents. I'm just saying.
You said they did a bad job.
All right, well, regardless of the point, your parents are the one that, like, you know, first like show you like your worldview and like, you know, what's right and wrong. And you obviously grow up and you figure out your own sense of right and wrong and like what you connect with and things of that nature. But if you as a child, if like race was so important to you as a child, like that much as a child, like, I don't know.
I do think at some point it does become personal and not something that's taught. Dots, all that you miss is like I have this beef with this YouTuber right here. I wouldn't really call it a beef. Like, I don't think we're ever gonna talk because again, he was ducking Colin strays. But he just has a very brain dead take about cultural representation and keeps convoluting it with a race issue. And he doesn't realize it. And it's really funny. Like, he's talking about like he's trying to appear so sensible about this, but he keeps misconstruing his own argument. And he's acting like I'm not getting him. Like, no, you don't get what you're trying to say, like, at all. You keep using culture wrong.
Well, I was gonna say about regarding like me reaching out to have a discussion. I don't really care if you didn't want to debate. Like, some people just aren't good at debating and they don't feel comfortable in that kind of space. That's fine. But you deleted my comment and then left a comment on my video, which was like, all right, bro.
Yeah, he didn't delete my comment though. I don't think he realized. Well, he might have done it now. Well, I can look at that later. But anyway, let's keep watching.
Like, but you don't have to go through that barrier or mental check of this popular superhero character, or whatever, doesn't look like me or have the same complexion as me.
Like Batman, like Batman is like everyone loves Batman. Well, actually, if I'm being real, a lot of people might have some mental issues. But like Batman, aside from that, is just rich. You know what I'm saying? Like just statistically, not everybody can be a billionaire. So it's like, why do people gravitate towards Batman then? Would it be because he's white? No, he dresses up as a bat at night and beats up people. Like what?
Yeah,
What about
that?
Like, just from the jump, already misconstruing my entire argument, but they would have known that that's not what I was trying to convey if they watched the entire video. They're over here
during your own argument, to be honest. Like, I don't think you know what
Yeah,
your argument is.
I don't think he knows what he said because like I have his video up and the previous one up. I went back on every single point that he was trying to clarify, and he said the exact same thing. Like he kept on saying like his personal review, and then put it in tandem with like this idea that cultural representation of the Odyssey is a failure. So if that's your whole point, that cultural representation was a failure, and all you have to say is about the celebrity casting and the lines of dialogue, then I think you fundamentally just don't know what you're talking about.
confidently debunking an argument that I never made, which is just
If that
which is just
wasn't an
hilarious.
argument you okay, so if that wasn't an argument you made, then why? That's what you just said. Like what we responded to in this very stream was that argument. So what are you talking about? Like he contradicts himself so much.
Yeah, it's like if I had to, he's acting like people don't have the ability to infer something. You don't have to explicitly tell me what your argument
Well,
is.
there wasn't even an inference. It's just what he said.
Well,
Like,
well,
literally.
I'm talking about in the context was like we didn't watch the whole thing. It's like, dude, I don't even have to watch. Let's say this was a book instead of a YouTube video. If I was reading a book and let's say there was like a question I had to answer after reading the book, what was the main idea of this passage? I don't have to read the entire story to figure out what the main idea was if I know exactly what I'm looking for. That's your problem. You think just because I didn't watch the whole video, I did, but just because Colin didn't, that he can't, like, he doesn't have the facilities to derive what your main point is. I can still get your main point without having watched the whole thing because you haven't said anything to validate culture representation. You've talked about race. It's not the same thing.
Like, how are they so confident about what they're saying without getting the full context of everything? And the funny thing is, Sunny Symbiotic, bro, you literally watched my video throughout and you understand what I was trying to say, but you're acting like you don't get it. Like you're just, it's like this section right here triggered you in some fashion and you had to come and present it to your friend here, College World, and then
You had to come, bro?
Bruh. Come on. You pause the video for that, bruh.
and you had to
Oh, you
come
paused.
and
That's fair. That's fair.
this section right here triggered you in some fashion and you had to come and present it to your friend here, College World, and then get that point of view that you made up or whatever, get that validated for some reason when you know that's not the argument that I'm trying to make.
Okay, all right. So you're gonna start alluding a lot to how people don't understand you and who you are as a person, Mo. Saying that Colin doesn't have the wherewithal to really understand your background and things like that. How would you know anything that you just said about me and the points that I made? How would you ever know? I think that's like just a genuine question. Because if you couldn't answer that, then what you're saying is just as good as what you think I'm doing to you. It would literally be the same thing, which I think is wild. I ended up seeing your video on algorithm, and I was just like, huh, let's watch this because I usually just have things like that I know for certain I won't watch, which is like Critical Drinker. And if I just see an opinion on the online of someone new, I will feel more like inclined to watch them because I know it's not something I'm used to. And just
I
by
don't- what I
chance,
don't
I happened to
understand-
watch this video. And so
He's
just
saying like, oh, sorry, I don't know. I thought you're done.
I'm gonna finish this point. So I watched your video by chance. I saw it. I was like, huh, I kind of want to talk about that. And then I just reached out to Colin. I didn't even say that like let's do this stream together. I just said, hey, I'm gonna stream this. Feel free to chime in if you want to. And then he did, and we
I'll
talked
actually,
about it. And then he just said like we made a plan
So,
afterwards, but it wasn't like
Context.
Okay, you can
He reached out to me because I was going through some shit, And I was like, he was like, yeah, I saw this video. I'm about to do a stream. I was like, oh, I'll join. I'll see what's up with that. Like he didn't even like we were talking about something completely separate before we started our last stream together, and I just decided to do that because I wanted to.
Exactly. Like it was a natural thing. Like I wanted to reach out to you just because like, you know, I hadn't talked to you in a minute. Like that's really all I was thinking. Um oh, Nobu wants to get Nobu. Actually, I'm gonna have you join in here when he talks about you, because he does talk about you in this video.
That's like that, but that would be like really late in the video because I don't think Nobu was in until like the final like last part of my video.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep it me and you just until like we make some headway, because we've been pausing a lot. Okay. So it's like I would just say already he's looking at it crazy, because I never as a kid was like, oh, I can't love Spider-Man the same because I'm black. Like what? I didn't even need Miles.
Someone in my chat said that. Someone in my chat said just dress up as Miles. Duh.
I don't.
At the end of the day, some of us weren't exposed to Miles till way later. Miles just recently became mainstream. Like, I don't know how you guys are gonna act like that's not the case.
What?
I read comics, but I somehow didn't really come across Miles. And the funny thing is, I can't relate with Miles.
He didn't realize that this was a stream and that you had reacted to a comment saying just look at Miles, duh. And he thought that you told him if you didn't like Spider-Man as a white guy, just get into Miles, duh. And that's where he went with that. He didn't realize that that was a stream comment. That's exactly what just happened. He thinks
Well,
that you
even,
said
even
that.
still, like you bringing up Miles, like were there not other like that was just an example.
Right, that was just an example that I can have a character that shares my skin complexion, that regardless we don't align. Like, even though he was black and even though he had my background and even though he had my like a similar upbringing to me, he still was not a character that I liked until the movies came out, because that's not what you should align yourself with a character for. Not their like that should not be the fundamental premise. You can like that as an add-on, but I think who they are as a person is more paramount than how they look or aesthetically how they present themselves to you. It should be internal. Who is Miles as a person? Do I like him? That's my problem with Miles. I didn't like him until into the movies. All the comics of Miles I have not liked because I just don't like him as a person. He's not like, he just does not captivate me in the comics. In the movie, he's depicted differently. I like his personality more. Therefore, I'm a fan of that version of Miles. What's so hard to get about that? Whatever.
To the level of Black Panther, because at the end of the day, Miles is mixed race. He's Afro-Latino. We're combining two different races. So I still
Raise
couldn't.
of race again.
You keep on bringing
Oh
up
my
race,
God.
Mo. You're doing my work for me, Mo. I don't have to like. Oh my god.
authentically resonate with Miles because he's not African. He's Afro-Latino. So it's still not the same thing.
Miles is black. You can't even see that
Mind you,
Miles
this-
is Latino.
No, hold on. Mind you, this was the argument he said he wasn't making. but then
Exactly.
Just made it again.
He's trying to say that my ability to connect with the character is not fundamentally built on if they're African or if they're black or whatever their race is. But every single time you bring up why you can't get into a character or you can halfway get into a character is because of their race. I didn't say anything about Miles being Latino because that wasn't important. It's about his personality. I don't like Miles, not because he's half me, but because I don't like his personality. Like, that's a weird. Oh my god.
Or like half black. Like that's not a part of my equation for liking that character. And I'm black, so it's like like that don't make me like him more. Like my favorite black Marvel character is Blade, because Blade is just cool. Blade is cool as hell. Like that's it. I like him more than Black Panther. Like easily. It's not even close for me.
A black man saying that the only reason why he likes Blade is because he's cool as hell. At the end of the day, hey, that's your opinion. If you just really like Blade because he's cool and you know what kind of superhero he is, that's your opinion, and that can be absolutely valid. But part of the reason why Blade is special is the fact that he's black. The reason why most people like Blade is just the fact that he represents the African American people in a cool fashion in the superhero landscape. You're gonna act like that's not a big part of his character.
I'm gonna let you
That's
take
a-
that one because
No, that's easy. So I never said that Blade's appeal has nothing to do with the fact that he's black. He could very well be as popular as he is because of his aesthetic and also the fact that he's black. But if you asked anybody to bring up any Blade comic where the main draw or pull from Blade is due to his connection to being an African American or black person, you would be hard pressed, because most of Blade's stories have to do with killing vampires. It doesn't have to do with race or discrimination or societal pressure. It's just that Blade has fun stories because his character is cool. Like, let me look it up. I can look it up right now. Does Blade have strong connections to
Can I get an
race?
AI overview?
And yep, just something real quick. In the comics, the character is an anti-hero. He is a mixed race British man devoting his life to ridding the world of all vampires. Blade usually. I don't think this really got what I was trying to say. A cultural
Yeah,
impossibility. Like, again, I don't like. If you were to actually do anything about reading Blade, you would understand that that dude has nothing. Like, I'm not saying nothing, but his fundamental stories, like his arc, his character, is not that attached to race. I like Blade regardless of his race, but if he is black, that's cool too. It's not the end all be all. That's the point I'm trying to make. Blade is fundamentally cool to me just because he doesn't have to focus on all that, and he's still a fun character to read about. That's it. He has cool weapons. He has a cool aesthetic. His weapons, like his fighting style is cool. His powers are cool to me. What do you go to superheroes for? A superhero, comic books. Why do you read comic books? It's like you're acting like that's crazy for me to come to that conclusion to. And again, Wesley Snipes' Blade, I don't think anybody was going to the movie theater for Wesley Snipes' Blade primarily thinking like, oh, this is the first black character that we've had in superhero movies, when there weren't a lot of superhero movies. People like Blade because Blade was cool. Like, if Blade came out today, sure, but that's what Black Panther was for. That showed you why that was important. Back then, we didn't have superhero movies like that. So Blade was just cool. You didn't have that backbone. You couldn't say, we don't have a lot of superhero movie characters that are based on comic books that are black, because we didn't have superhero movie comic book characters on the screen at all. Blade was the first. A lot of people don't know that. Blade was the first.
I think
so. You
another
can't even
thing, like,
use
the-
that.
Just the difference between like when Blade came out, it wasn't like this crazy cultural like boom like Black Panther was. And obviously like part of that is because like, you know, social media and shit was more popular when Black Panther came out. But most people, like, when they give praise to the Black Panther movie, the first Black Panther movie, it was like a lot of it was like the cultural aspect of it.
Exactly.
Whereas like most people look back at the Blade movie and is like, yeah, it wasn't like it's not about the cultural thing. It was just that like, yeah, Blade has like, he was a badass. And mind you, I don't like Blade that much as a character because I literally just haven't been into like I haven't read his comics, haven't watched the movies in forever. I think he's cool still, like his aesthetic and like his like, what's the word? Aura, I guess I'll just say that. like I think he's cool as a character. Like if the Blade MCU movie was to come out, like I would have gone and watched that. But, you know, I don't know enough about Blade for me to be like, yeah, this is like a great character to me personally.
Yeah, it's like if I was to give like any equivalent of a character that like really related to me on a personal level, like as far as like my background goes, and I also like the writing too, it would be Static Shock. Like Static Shock to me is the character like that embodies a lot of my upbringing, looks like me, checks all those boxes, cool, but also has the writing to match it. But even still, it's like I don't love his powers, and I can have that assessment of Static Shock and just be like, it's just what I like. But me talking about the quality of the character doesn't have to do with the fact that he hits all those boxes. Like, that would be ridiculous. Like, a lot of characters in Static Shock that weren't even black matched my experience too. Just because we came like from similar backgrounds. It didn't matter that he like, oh my God, dude. I'm gonna just keep watching.
It's a new one to me. The only reason why you like Blade is because he's cool as hell, and subconsciously there's nothing about him telling you, hey, this guy is black as well. Like I said, that's
Okay. Focus on the word subconsciously. Even in your own assessment of why I would like Blade. You said subconsciously, and you should keep it sub because you're talking about it as if it should be a main focal point as to why Blade should get the recognition he deserves, which is not true. I'm not saying it's not a factor at all. I'm saying it's not my important factor. It's not the thing that I wake up thinking like, "Oh, that's so cool that he happens to also be black." That's not like that doesn't go in my wheelhouse. Because again, even if Blade is my favorite black superhero, he's not my top 5. Because you can look like me and still not have anything that is appealing for a comic book character. If someone else came out that did, sure, great. But that's just not the case because I'm not looking for that. Oh my God.
It's your opinion, but I would say majority of people appreciate the fact that Blade is a black superhero as well too.
You can appreciate it too, but don't appreciate it only. You make it seem like an only thing. Your end all be all seem to do very strongly with
I wouldn't
race.
say that. Like he did say like he can connect with character. Like I'm not gonna say he didn't say that, but every time he tries to make the argument for a disconnect with a character, it always boils down to race. He hasn't made a single argument that has.
That's what I'm trying to say.
That has to do with a disconnect that hasn't been him talking about their race.
That's my point. I'm saying like, don't let the end all be all for you talking about cultural representation to be about race. Like that's your end all be all every single time you bring up this argument.
But that's your opinion.
That's I guess my hot take.
I like Black Panther more because I've read more Black Panther and I've consumed more Black Panther. Pause. But yeah, I think Blade is cool, despite not really knowing much about the character. It's just
He smirked a bit when you said consumed.
his aesthetic cool.
No,
Yeah.
Blade is fire. Well, we can get into that later. I'm gonna let this guy keep talking.
And let me be clear, that does not mean that I couldn't connect with Spider-Man or any of those other characters. And it doesn't mean that black people can't connect with superheroes or characters that don't look like them, or vice versa. White people can't do that. Characters that don't look like them either. As humans, we connect with different people that look different from us all the time. That's
No, just wait. It gets worse.
All right.
Like again,
Well, I'm just saying, like this, he just like swapped personalities for a second. Like I'm like,
no, I don't think he swapped. So here,
So this is what I'm saying. Like, why make a reaction video without actually getting as much context and letting the video play for at least 5 fucking minutes before you make an assumption about the person?
I mean, we're
Because
15
obviously
minutes
right here,
into your video
my point
right
makes sense
now.
after you let it develop. But your friend Sonny Symbiotic is like, no, it gets worse. That's not what he's arguing. When it's like, you know, I would say, Colin, like, trust your gut, bro. Okay, trust your gut when it comes to things like this, because your friends could lead you astray just because they want.
Wait, pause it. I did. We're almost 16 minutes into this response stream. Look at what we've gone over, bro. I mean, come on. Like that's really all I have to say.
Want their point validated by you, because as you can see, I'm starting to make sense, right? So wouldn't you assume that my thesis
Yeah,
is going
but
to
then you
develop even more?
immediately don't make sense after that. Like your words contradict what you're about to say, and that's why Sony said, "Hold on, it gets worse."
Exactly, because like
So-
you make a point that seems reasonable until you add the addendum to your point, which makes it contradictory. Like, and that you don't realize that you do that like often.
Because as you can see, I'm starting to make sense, right? So wouldn't you assume that my thesis is going to develop even more by watching more of the video?
Or it has the potential to crash and burn. Like just because you're making, like, oh my god,
Dude, you know how many times? You know how many times I've started, like, the amount of videos I've responded to on my channel. I'm not gonna lie, where I've watched like the first 2 minutes of it and then just put it in my editing software and started responding to it, and then I was just right. The rest of the video is also bad, and obviously, like, there'll be points in my response videos where I'll be like, all right, yeah, I agree with this. He's got a point here, but you can start your video off with a premise, and then that premise, you know, you can either add more stuff that makes it not as bad, or it's just gonna be as bad as what the premise wasn't to begin with. So
yeah, I would just say you kept talking and it got worse.
But your friend won't let me cook. Sonny Symbiotic won't let me cook.
Here's what I'm trying to. I saw this video before, but I didn't talk on it yet. I gave a comment, but I didn't like address all the points that I wanted to talk about until like I talked to you earlier. So it's like my biggest issue is that I feel like he's not like egregious. I don't like hate his opinion or anything. I just think it's
After watching his other videos, I do think he's egregious. I think he's like a full grifter.
a little misguided because of what he focuses on for what an adaptation should be. That's why I thought on my stream, like, I think adaptations, people don't know what they should be anymore. And that's what I'm gonna get into with how he's talking. He thinks this character should. I'm gonna just let him keep going. You'll get it.
There's still a difference between connecting with a character that doesn't look like you and then connecting to a character where that distance doesn't even exist.
Okay, and that's my problem. That what he just said right there was my biggest issue. Does that make sense?
Connect. Like, what would be creating the distance except for race?
Exactly. And that
So this was literally when I made the point that everything you talk about concerning cultural like representation, it hinges on a race argument. that was me making the point that every single time you bring up the sounds good thing, you keep attaching that, well, that doesn't make sense. And it fumbles your whole argument. Because if it's about cultural representation, I would agree. Culture matters, but not based on how the actor looks. And you say that you didn't say that, but I'm gonna get to that later too. But
Like, well, I'm so confused.
So he's basically trying to say like
So, like, he's saying, well,
the value in.
well,
you can
sure,
go.
sorry, like that just feels like a contradiction of what he just said. So he's like, you can connect with these characters, but you also feel a disconnect because they're not the same color as you.
Yeah, he's like if it's not there at all, like there's no connect, that's when he feels like it's egregious. And that's where I would say, what are you connecting to in question that makes it so egregious? Because if your end all be all is going to be like predicated off of what the character looks like and how they're depicted visually and aesthetically, then I would say you never really connected with the character in the first place.
But that was never my point. Like, it's like you're just
was.
picking and choosing things
Yes,
that
it
I was
was.
saying.
That's what
to-
you said. That's literally what he said. What are you
like,
talking about?
like,
That's not your point.
he keeps on saying, no, that was not my point. But you don't have to say anything yet. Just let him keep talking. Watch.
But that was
watch.
never my point. Like, it's like you're just picking and choosing things that I was saying to come up with your own conclusion. If you listened, I said that there is a slight disconnect because at the end of the day, Black representation in superheroes is something that is real and important to Black people, African people, people of color. Simple. I can separate my love for a character, but also understand on a deeper level, does this character represent our people? Are our people shown in a light that is favorable in this type of space, in this media of superheroes and entertainment? That's something that I can separate as well too and acknowledge. I never said anything about not being able to connect with a character that's white or whatever. I literally said
So when you literally said before that Peter Parker happens to be white and you couldn't fully connect with him, was that just a lie or what? Did that just like not happen? Because I'm confused. I'm pretty sure you just said that that doesn't happen. Yet it did happen. So now I'm like, where do we go here, Mo?
Well, mind you, he just said that like, oh, let the your friend wouldn't let me cook, and then
I let you
his
cook.
response to argument just circles back to what my original point was. So
Like he
you're
keeps
not
on
making
saying,
much sense.
no, I didn't do that. And then when I give the opportunity to show that you didn't do that, you just do the same thing. Like you just did the same thing. Even when he's explaining it, he still talks about the fact that it's Black representation, not African. That's cultural. Black, well, it depends. If it's a Black America, sure. You could talk about that being a cultural thing, maybe. But again, that has nothing to do with the Odyssey, which is why I keep on
Yeah, it
saying
would be like-
it's a setup for the comparison. That doesn't
It would
work.
be like it would be like if someone from Africa was to look at like a movie like Boys in the Hood or Menace to Society, like they could feel like it would just be the inverse of that, right?
Yes.
Because culturally, it's two completely different things.
But racially, they're the same.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this guy.
face in this media of superheroes and entertainment. That's something that I can separate as well too and acknowledge. I never said anything about not being able to connect with a character that's white or whatever. I literally said it, but it's just you refuse to understand it or you just can't
No,
understand it. I
No,
don't,
it's not. We
It-
did understand.
if
it. We
I went-
acknowledged that
If I went back,
we
yeah.
acknowledged that you said you can connect with them. The problem was that you said you feel a disconnect because of their race. What is not computing about that? I don't like.
Your slight disconnect always boils down to how they look. When it
it's just
shouldn't,
AI generated. Yeah.
it shouldn't boil down to that if you're talking about culture. That's your problem, Mo. Race should not be a barrier of entry for culture.
I don't know. Most people in my comments understand the exact point that I was trying to make.
There was a lot of people in your comments that were newer, if you filter it to new, that were saying exactly what we said. And it just completely missed your radar. And I'm happy to pull that up later if you
Watch
want.
the video.
I don't see a random white guy on the street and be like, yeah, I'm connected to that guy. We look the same.
Yeah, or having any connection. Like if I don't know you, I don't know you. That's just
Yeah, I don't-
like universal. So, and here's the comparison that initially turned me off right here, which is he's about to talk about.
And that's when I first found out about the Black Panther. I had a completely different type of connection with this superhero. And it wasn't primarily because of what he can do and the cool things that a superhero can do. Yes, Black Panther has cool powers. He has the gadgets. He has the strength, the intelligence, the fighting prowess, and everything you expect from a top-level superhero. But that wasn't the main thing that connected me to him, even as a child where I couldn't really articulate what it was.
Again, focus on that. He's looking at this as a child.
No, like
as a
yeah, no,
child.
genuinely, because he was just like his list of good was funny, cool superpowers, and he's smart and like all these things that superheroes should be, and then he's like transitioning.
He's literally over here making a condescending remark about how I was thinking as a child. It's very, you can't really say anything but just keep your thoughts to yourself about people that operate like this.
Okay.
Bro, and like, what did he say that was that bad? It's like you started using the kid voice, and all of a sudden that's like what's so egregious about that? Like
But
Jesus.
I really connected with him because he looked like me. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Genuinely,
I
that is
realized
like
that. What connect?
that is the most childish view.
And you're about to see in a second when I explained that it was deeper than just color as well too, and how as a kid I couldn't articulate what
Yeah,
it
no, we're
was
gonna
because
respond
initially
to
as a
that.
child you see what's in front of you, like I mentioned, but in hindsight I understood that it was the deep psychological layer of how people of our race are being represented, especially Africans, because I'm African myself. So when we're talking particularly about just the African culture, I speak on how Wakanda was depicted as more than just huts, animals, poverty, and a group of people that are constantly needing to be saved. Again, you would know that and you would not make these conclusions if you watched the video. So was this really a
did watch
debunking
that part of the
video about what I'm
and
saying,
we
or
still pause it. We did watch that. Like you're talking about like not playing the rest of the video. We did play it. Like you're probably gonna see us play it and whenever we unpause this stream. But like we responded to that argument too, and your argument was still about race and not culture.
Yes.
or you just wanted to put this up and just talk about me with your friends and just basically say that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying stupid shit.
You are, and you don't know what you're talking about.
Because 90% of everything that you said so far, I explain if you just waited a minute.
We
Your
let it keep
explanations are
playing, and you
bad.
explain it in a way that still does not help you.
On media, bro. Like, no bullshit.
It's like, but even like if I was a kid, like I can't see myself or my kid self caring that much about, because I knew about Black Panther as a kid. I didn't really like Black Panther like that. Is that a hot take? Hey, y'all can sue me if that's a hot take. I'm black. I saw Black.
No, honestly, Black Panther really wasn't a good movie. Like that's objectively true. That was not a good movie, and I would even say Black Panther 2 was
That's a great-
better than that.
That's
But
the
it wasn't
first. That's the first good take he's had in this entire video.
I agree.
That's all I'm gonna say.
a good movie. But there's a reason why that movie is the highest grossing film that they made. It's one of the highest grossing Marvel films because it was the first time where our group of people, Africans, Black Americans, specifically Africans,
All right,
were
can
being
we
represented.
like real quick? Sorry, I'm not gonna sit here and say he's wrong with what he's about to say about the whole like cultural representation being a big part of why it made so much money. Captain Marvel made $1 billion during this time period. They were all making that much money. It was just Marvel in general, so that has to be out there.
Yeah, I
Like-
mean, to me, it really didn't matter. Like, again, I'm not a numbers guy to the point like it determines the quality. So it's like,
No, that's
If
not
I
even
watched-
what the argument I was making.
no, I'm talking about him. I'm just talking to him. So it's like, you bringing that up, it does not change the fact that you using Black Panther to talk about the Odyssey is still fundamentally wrong from a cultural lens. And we talked about why that's the case, but you're gonna act like all right, whatever.
presented on the big screen in a good light and a celebratory way that represented our people, Africans, Black people, and just people who love the character of Black Panther, all came to support this movie just because of that reason. It didn't matter if the movie was good or not. It's what
That's a problem. I would say that's a problem if they just came for that reason and nothing else if the movie was good or not. But keep going.
it's what it represented to our group of people.
Panther, I didn't really.
And to some people, that may be that quality that takes it above the edge. But to another group of people that shares my skin color, that doesn't care about that, like for the purpose of grading a movie's quality, that could just be as easily something to dismiss. Like you're acting like two sides of the fence don't exist.
They care like
Other
that.
side of
Is
the
that crazy?
fence where if you criticize certain aspects of it, you're racist.
Which is wild to me because again, he's going to argue for why Helen should not be black. But
Nah,
yeah,
I remember when I made my Wakanda Forever video, and like so many people did the same thing he did at the beginning of his this response he made, where it's like, oh, you're white, so you wouldn't understand Namor's view on slavery. I'm like, dude, I have a fucking brain just like you, right? So my skin color doesn't fucking matter. I'm talking about the logic behind his fucking plan, his motivations, and everything. So shut the fuck up, please.
I could literally talk about Shiri's final plan was to go out into the water where Namor's people was and fight them with spears instead of the gun that one-shotted one of I don't know the Namor's people that what is it, Nakia used, and she shot him and it was like instantly dead. Why didn't you just arm everybody with that gun since you're literally the most advanced civilization on Earth with the best technology? Why can't you just mass produce that and use that instead of these spears? Out in the water, by the way. You literally got a boat. Like, you're the most advanced civilization, and you chose to go, like,
Or the fact that they can make vibranium bullets that would kill Namor and they don't do that.
There's so many things, but regardless, we're
I
getting
mean,
off
both,
topic.
both of the Black Panther movies are like pretty bad in terms of the writing.
But the thing is, like the reason why I never really cared about Black Panther like that for me was because if I look at everything outside
Notice how I say for me, and look what he says after this.
of him being black, I don't live like that dude. That dude is a king. He deals with like national issues,
I think-
like all the
I
time.
think the only thing Black Panther related that I've really resonated, like on a personal level with the character, like I still like him regardless. Like,
And before you get into it, Sonny, bro, that's your experience. I'm African. I mentioned that, right? So you can't say that experience is the same for every kid out there, bro.
I don't think I did say that was the same for every kid out there. I literally said for me to tell you that this is just how I see it personally, because I'm giving my personal example as to why it wouldn't matter for someone that may share thoughts like me. I'm not saying everybody thinks like this, obviously. Come on, Mo. I'm trying to say that some people have this opinion. Like, it's not hard. That's why I said for me.
Like, what don't you understand about that?
like run that I read, it was called Intergalactic Empire Wakanda. The only thing I really have, or even in the movies, is like the pressure that he like when he's put in a leadership role, like he has this pressure. He wants to like make changes on things that everybody else around him sees as set in stone, but he wants to like be the difference. Like that's really the only thing that like resonate on like a somewhat personal level for me with that character.
I would agree. I feel like I relate to Black Panther more from the themes, but like his life, like how he lives his life, how he goes about like his day to day, like compared to someone like Spider-Man, is
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah.
Like I feel about as connected to Black. Like here's the analogy that I would make. I have more things in common with Craig down the street than I have with Kanye West because he's a billionaire. Like he lives in a completely different realm than me. Craig's white
Wait,
down the
hold on,
street,
hold
but
on.
we got way more in common. People can physically or aesthetically represent a certain like depiction or whatever, and that can have literally no bearing on their character. And this is the point I'm going to get to make because he's bringing up this Black Panther comparison for a very specific reason to talk about the Odyssey later. But in my opinion, it doesn't work. But I'm gonna kind of let him like flesh out his point and then explain why I don't agree with using Black Panther's representation to compare with the Odyssey. I just think it's
challenge
crazy.
where I couldn't
Yeah,
really
I'm curious
articulate
to
what
know
it was. In hindsight, I realized that what connected me to the Black Panther was what he
Do you- wait, do
represented.
you have a
He
super
represents Africa, where both of my parents are from. He represented a place whose traditions, values, history, and pride and mentality had been passed down through my family. For the first time in the superhero landscape, there was a superhero that I could look at and actually have a different sense of pride in, one that I couldn't get from Superman, Batman, or any other white superheroes. And beyond the Black Panther itself, it's also what Wakanda represented. For years, so much of the Western portrayals of Africa has been built around the stereotypical images of huts, wild animals, poverty, chaos, and people waiting to be rescued. Then Wakanda showed an African civilization with technology that was more advanced than anywhere else on the planet. It showed powerful leaders, intelligence, strength, innovation, tradition, and people that did not need to be saved. They were
Okay,
I
so
don't
here's
hold on, confusing to me. Does this guy not live in the U.S.?
I don't know where he lives, but
Like, well, I'm
to me it
sorry,
doesn't matter.
Well, because like the thing he said about like the stereotypical stuff of like poverty huts and giraffes or whatever. I don't know what the third thing he says was. I forget, but like I don't know how that would resonate with you if you don't like actually live there.
Do you do you see how ignorant this dude is? Basically, if I don't live in that environment, I can't resonate with that and those people and what they go through and how Africa is being depicted. And the funny thing is, Colin, you're talking like you know me, and you don't even know my background to know if I
Oh
even.
my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, first thing, did I not preface the thing? I don't know where this guy is. I don't know. Blah 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 blah. But I said, like, did I not preface that? That was literally the first thing I said before I got to my point.
Yeah, you did.
But regardless, well, I actually let him finish his point before I make this.
Lived in Africa, which I actually did for a period of time when I was younger. So the fact that you're over here making this basis and talking like you know my history and my upbringing is just it's just so silly. I'm sorry to put it, but you're thinking like a little kid. For the reason that you don't live there, that doesn't mean that you can't understand and empathize or feel like your people are being represented. Even without physically living there, children of immigrants can inherit the language, the traditions, the values,
All
and the
right, you can
cultural
pause it.
identity.
So everything he brought up, right? Like if you do not live there, like okay, he lived there, so it makes more sense why it would resonate more with you. Besides the point, right? If you do not live there, like let me put it like this: like if let's say I was rich, I lived in a suburban neighborhood, was like living a completely different style, and then I watched a movie like Boys in the Hood. There's obviously going to be a personal disconnect there because you don't live the same. So if you don't live in Africa and you're bringing up, oh, well, this movie was showing all these different things, then obviously I would be confused on why you resonate with that so much because you didn't go through that. Like, I feel like that's pretty easy to understand.
Yeah, but again, he's kind of going off like the idea that how would you know? But it is what it is.
Of his heritage.
That was what just confused me.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. No, but the reason why I really strongly
That's a good point. I didn't even think about it. Yeah, because you can't. Like, you obviously. Let's continue.
All right, so he's trying to insinuate there that I'm not intelligent enough to, like, form any critical thinking analysis. So that's what that was right there. But I just thought what you said was interesting because I didn't think about the fact that if I did not live in a situation that had these things going on, it would be very hard to resonate with. Going off the preface that you set up, that's it. Because I wasn't thinking in that realm. That's all.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can be empathetic towards it. Like empathetic is a better
Yes,
word. to describe
empathetic,
it.
sure, but resonate means I have to have experienced it.
Yeah.
Agreed with this was because the first thing that I kind of latched onto when he started like fleshing this out was this representation. All the qualities that he talked about does not require T'Challa to be black, to be from Africa. He said leadership. He said what it represents. Everything that you're saying does not match the visual that you're showing. Character qualities that T'Challa likes that you think he
So I said, my fault, bro. Like, I genuinely didn't want to go through a damn near 3-hour movie to find every single visual that will match the words that I'm saying. I tried my best, bro. Okay, like
What?
now you're just finding shit to talk about.
That wasn't the point.
Yeah,
he was talking about the words you used.
He's thinking that when I said visual, I was referring to a visual in the movie instead of talking about a visual as it relates to a character's qualities, like you were bringing up earlier in the video, talking about leadership and things of that nature. I'm saying that it does not connect to the visual of someone being black or white to have these personal character qualities. I can be black, I can be white, and still be a leader, still be diplomatic, still be caring for people. Like, I can have all of these qualities and not have the same race as somebody else. That's all I brought that up for. That was the visual I meant.
Someone said, I live in Northern Africa and I can tell you it's not rich. So what I think he's bringing up with Black Panther is the fact that, like, you know, there was like the civilization that was like advanced. I think what he was trying to say was that it gave him a sense of like pride and hope that like where he comes from could be like that.
Yeah.
Like other third world countries, or I mean not third world countries, first world countries, could be like that, which makes sense. Like, I get why you connect with that, but that was still separate from the race thing.
Yes. Like it again has nothing to do with me being black or white to have these qualities that you mentioned about T'Challa or about African, like why you liked him. Because why you liked him shouldn't have anything to do with what color of skin he is.
About literally.
represents. None of it needed for him to be a black person or to be from Africa
I
or for him to
literally
be
just
Wakandan.
Someone said no, he said he was from Africa, and then he doesn't like the representation of Hudson shit because he moved from Africa to the U.S. Did he say that? Or recall him saying that?
But he started by saying representation, or like what he
My
represents.
continent, Africa, to Black Panther was what he represented.
What he represents. What he
He
represents.
represented someone from my continent, Africa, where both of my parents are from. He represented a
Okay,
place.
but his parents are from
Okay,
there.
so both of where his parents are from. So
Which
by that logic,
also-
I could have a super.
pause it real quick. If you wanted it to be so known that he did live in Africa and it was like so offensive to him that I assumed that he didn't, like, then why'd you say my parents? Why didn't you say my parents and me? Like, we lived in Africa. Like, what? Mini point, whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
You're right.
That
That is a
was
great
good.
leader. That is strong. That's like diplomatic and from Africa. That's not black. You can have Africans that are white. Like I feel like you're trying to hide what you really want to say, and it's because he looks like you. That's really what I think he's trying.
Yeah, because he looks like me. Like, is there anything wrong with that?
Yes, if you're
Alright.
talking about culture. If your argument is about culture and you're saying how he looks like you like is important, then you fundamentally miss the point. Culture and how you look skin color wise aren't the same. That's my issue, dog.
Well, like, to add to that, it's not even just that. Like, if you don't, you said verbatim, there was no disconnect between you and Black Panther at all, right? So, but you said there was a disconnect between you and Spider-Man because of how you looked.
Mhm.
I said that's shallow because that should not give you a disconnect.
Yes.
Like, you were looking at it through the wrong way. So yes, I'm not saying there's anything objectively wrong with it. Subjectively, I think it's shallow.
Yes. Like if your hiccup for not fully embracing, meaning you can embrace to some extent, but not fully. The reason why you can't fully embrace Spider-Man, if it's based on the fact that he does not share your skin color, I would agree from a, moral standpoint, which I think my morality is subjective. I think that is also a shallow thing to, come to a conclusion on. I think it should transcend the skin color that he has and more so be about the qualities that he reflects as a person. What's his personality? So yeah.
I don't know what your argument is. Yeah, because he looks like me. That's the surface level. But the fact that it's backed by all the cultural consistencies,
I can be backed by the cultural consistencies and not share that skin color.
that makes it even
Well,
deeper.
he hasn't even mentioned. So earlier in the video when he mentioned like Spider-Man was his favorite superhero, but he felt a disconnect with him. But he also said that he doesn't feel any kind of disconnect with Black Panther. Like, surely there's some things that Black Panther in like his stories that he goes through that like you don't fully resonate with.
Culturally.
Whether it's culturally, thematically, his character, his morals, his character arcs, the things that his internal conflict, like, surely there's things there that you don't connect with, which is why Spider-Man is still your favorite hero. So how are you not seeing the point that I'm getting across, that the way you're looking at it through race is shallow?
Yes. Like even even the reason why you can't fully embrace Spider-Man isn't a culture issue. You haven't said
Yeah.
anything about Spider-Man culturally that would hurt you from being able to fully embrace him. The only thing that you gave me as to why you could not embrace Spider-Man was a race issue, not culture. Whatever.
by all the cultural
Dude, Goku doesn't look anything like me. I know black people across the world love Goku. That come on. Don't you remember when Akira Toriyama died and everybody like Mexico, even the cartel stopped doing like that was like a big story at the time to watch like runs of Dragon Ball Z. Like the cartel stopped cartelling for like a day or something.
Stop
Like
cartelling.
no, wasn't that a story?
I don't know. I've never heard of
Hey,
that. I can't lie.
Someone fact check me on that because I'm pretty sure that happened.
consistencies, that makes it even deeper. But even if I said, yeah, it's the fact that he's black and he has the same skin tone as me, there's nothing wrong with that.
It is
As in,
if
it-
you're
there's
talking
nothing
about
wrong with that.
culture.
Well, but it's also, there's nothing wrong with that if it's in addition to not
Yes.
the reason you feel the disconnect. Like, whatever. Just keep letting it play. We're genuinely going.
Like,
in
I'm just trying to figure out what
circles,
the issue of that is.
You say like a crazy.
Values,
I
history,
mean, I guess I
pride,
understand
mentality
like
had been passed down
where
through
you
my family.
where you come
For
from.
the first time
sort
this
of thing, I guess. Like I guess his parents are from there. Maybe his parents told him stories about like what Africa was like or whatever. I still don't like quite like I still just kind of go back to what I said earlier. Like you didn't exactly grow up in that, so why is that specifically?
just talking out his ass has zero information about me and nothing to confirm.
You keep
understand
prefacing
something
that
that
you
you lived
don't
there or not.
know for sure.
Okay. Well,
Like,
hold
if
on.
you-
Like, yeah, you brought it up now, and I went back on that point. But you're in your original video. If you really wanted that to be known, then why didn't you say that in your original video? Why'd you say your parents are from there? Why not include yourself in that if it was this important to you?
Yeah, it's whatever.
No, I agree.
Well, I
Like,
just
I
understand like what about that is like what about that makes you identify with it? Other than he's black or he's from the same roots as me, like racially or ethnically.
Watch that first 2 minutes of that video and rewatch it and actually absorb what I'm saying, and then you might actually understand what I'm trying to say.
Oh, we're
it's
absorbing
like
a lot.
to me, you're talking about like the
There's a lot of
nationality
things
aspect of it.
being
But I'm like, that's like a
Yo, that's a major pause. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna just let you slide off that. Pause again. Oh my god, let's just keep watching.
weird point to go off from because again, you're talking about Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man's American. Spider-Man is a leader. Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you want to say it's because he's black. Like I feel like that's really what you want to say.
Superhero landscape. There was a
Hold on, my
superhero
bad.
place whose traditions, values, history, and pride.
You notice how he started thinking about that and couldn't understand it, and then just kept going. Like he didn't get why I brought up that Spider-Man thing. Like Spider-Man hits your box on all of these other topics, except for the fact that he is not black. Like every.
Traditions,
I'm repeating
values,
myself.
history, and pride. So it has to be because he's African. So again, to reference earlier, he said, as a child, it was weird for me to fully embrace Spider-Man because you don't think y'all share the same history.
Never said it was weird. Like, just this is getting exhausting. Where did I?
Semantically, he did not say weird, but implications like you know in good faith. I'm not trying to say that you used weird in a negative connotation like that, as if it was strange or abnormal or wrong. I'm saying that you had a slight disconnect, and that was just my word for using it. That's it. It doesn't have to be anything deeper than that. Semantics, bro.
Say weird. I said there was a slight disconnect. There's a slight nuance of like Spider-Man and Black Panther and how I connected to both those characters differently. Why are you thinking of it so black and white, bro?
I think the only people thinking of anything here
History,
is so
like,
black and
traditions.
white is you, buddy. I can't lie.
He's right up black and white in every single point he's trying to defend. Whatever.
Pride as like your best friend Ben. It feels like it's just because he was white. Like it don't feel like
Well, the only
you know.
so culturally, obviously, there's different traditions and stuff from America to Africa or America to Costa Rica or Puerto Rico.
He never ends up engaging in any statement that I make about the race not being the same as culture. You notice how he just keeps gliding, like he attaches to the points. Oh my god, like he doesn't say
Or-
anything
or-
to that effect.
He's done it 3 times. You've done it like 3 times. Where he's just like, bro, you're black. How do you not get it?
Yeah, like
Or Mexico or even England or fucking,
Like-
like there's obviously gonna be different traditions and like cultural things from different places of the world or your heritage or whatever. But like value, like he said values. And it's like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
obviously like
Yeah, your values can be different depending on where you're from. Not everyone has the same values.
duh, but it doesn't mean how
Literally,
you
not
look.
everywhere. It's important to treat people a certain way. So that
See, this is an argument that reflects culture. The problem is that you keep then contradicting yourself to talk about how race fits in that paradigm. What you just said is culture. You're absolutely right. So why do you keep on throwing in someone has to be black or white? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Could be rude over here. In Japan, shaking somebody's hand or it could be deemed rude. Not greeting somebody in a certain manner could be rude
Yes.
in different areas.
I don't know why he's even saying this. I acknowledge that.
Yes, this is easy to agree to because it's area, it's region, it's social, it's not racial. That's what he's not getting. Race and culture are not the same.
What he means is like, what he thinks is good, whether it be in person or what you just strive for in life or his morals or something like that. And yeah, that can come from where your heritage is from, but it doesn't have to. Like, you kind of form, it doesn't really matter where you're from. Like, you just kind of form those as you go throughout and live life, no matter like what you think is right and wrong. And like, sure, your environment can like shape that in a way, but that doesn't make sense because he didn't grow up in Africa. So what are you resonating with? Like,
What? The ignorance is just overwhelming right now. Why is he talking like he knows if I lived in Africa or not, or had an upbringing there? Is it because I don't talk like this?
I've gone through that, so I've answered that so many times.
And I don't have an accent that's overbearing. You can't understand it. Is that why? Like, this dude is so ignorant. It's just absolutely sad, bro.
Yo, nah, this guy's funny. Okay.
Bro, that did have me laughing. I ain't gonna lie. When he did that, I was like, bro, Khan's gonna
Argue like if you were to read a Black Panther comic, there are some traditions and just Black Panther itself that isn't really represented in just normal African cultures. Like I don't think they got kings and queens that have a trial by combat to like. You know what I'm saying?
no,
Like, is that
Actually, that's something that they do, and that's not just based in Africa. They do trial by combat in ancient history and in several other cultures as well.
Okay, so I'm talking specifically about African culture. There is not a single African like nation that ever had monarchies where there was a trial by combat to elect their kings and queens. It has
They
always,
did that in Rome, right?
I mean, even if they did,
Was
they
it Rome or
didn't do
Greece?
it in Africa, which is what I'm arguing too. If you were so like influenced by African culture being accurately represented by the Black Panther movie, you would not celebrate the fact that they had a trial by combat to elect their kings and queens because
Wow,
that's
how would
not
you know,
in Africa.
Shoni? How would you know, Shoni? This guy grew up in Africa. Maybe he did. Maybe they did do the trial by combat.
Can you see my my search?
Maybe you're just being ignorant, bro.
What should I look up? Throughout history,
Just look up like was there ever a trial by combat in Africa to choose leaders?
was there? Oh, sorry. Ever a trial by combat to choose? Oh, I can't spell. Choose what?
A leader.
Leader in Africa. If I'm wrong, I'll take myself back. There is no reliable historical evidence that trial by combat was ever used in Africa to choose a leader. The practice of trial by combat, a judicially sanctioned duel to settle disputes, was primarily a feature of Germanic tribal law and later medieval European legal codes, with some rare appearances in Irish Brehon law and Scandinavian holmgang customs. It was not part of the known legal traditions of African society. So, to my original point, with me talking to you, I literally tried to say that Africa didn't have traditions where trial by combat elected their leaders. So if you can't find any source that supports that in Africa specifically, because again, you're talking from the cultural representation of Africa and Black Panther, you didn't make any sense. Like, you just said that to say that. Like, am I, as you're listening to me, am I crazy?
Nah, you got it.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure because
Well, too, like they didn't just make that shit up.
no, we should have Trump and fucking Biden fight for in trial by combat to see who the next president was.
Yeah, they gotta have a new UFC match to throw him in prison.
Yo, Trump and Kamala would have been out there boxing.
Through my family. For the first time in the superhero landscape, there was a superhero that I could look at and actually have a different sense of pride in. One that I couldn't get from Superman, Batman, or any other white superhero.
Okay, so it is color. It's based on color. Because you can be white and be African and fit all of those descriptions that he just said. I can be white in Africa and have the same culture, have the same pride, have the same tradition. The current like middleweight champion in UFC right now is an African white person.
That's a true statement. But generally, if you like are black or African, group of people usually have different cultures and traditions than someone that's heritage and lineage goes back to the European roots, right? That's why there's different races.
What?
The South Africans are white.
Right, but you can still be.
Yeah. So this to me is not defensible. This is just bigotry. Like that's something that you just say where you there's no defense for me on that one. And he even says something worse.
It literally, like, objectively, this isn't even a subjective thing. Objectively, it does not matter where your roots are even from, bro. If you want to talk about culture, bro, it's where you're from. It's where you grew up. Like, not in the DNA sense. It's like literally where you grew up. Like, so if there's a white guy and he lives in Africa,
He can have African culture.
Yeah, he can do anything any other black African, white African, fucking Hispanic African, like, it doesn't matter. Like, they're two different things.
Yep.
Right, but they originated from Europe.
So
trying to compare those two
what?
is not really looking at the deeper picture that on a broader scale
There
and
is no
more
deeper picture. You're
consistent
just
basis,
wrong. Like,
your color can depict usually where your lineage and your race comes from and your background. That's how people usually identify where people are from. Obviously,
So if you saw my race, you would be able to tell where I'm from? Tell me, Mo, what type of African am I?
Let's test that right now. What? How white am I? Or what part of Europe is my my DNA mostly from?
You know what, man? You're giving me a strong sense of Austrian white, bro. I see pure Austria in you, gang. I know for a fact, bro. You gotta be Austrian.
So crazy thing. I am like 50% Italian and like 20% Puerto Rican, and the rest is just a bunch of other shit.
You know, I knew that because you're white, bro. This dude's an
there's
idiot.
different skin tones, and you could be someone of color that has a darker complexion from a different country that has nothing to do with another country that has the same complexion. Like Indians, there's dark complexion Indians, and then there's dark complexion Africans, and then there's dark complexion people in the Caribbean, right? Like,
Yes.
yes, those are those nuances, but still, when it
But
comes to
still what?
media, like superheroes, Batman, Superman, Thor, Captain America, most people are looking surface level about the skin color, especially children, kids.
No one's looking at surface level
He's
about the
saying
skin
most
color.
people. Who the fuck is most people?
Most people are looking at the fact that that's their favorite superhero and they could do away with the color of their skin. That's the whole point. Like you
that grew up reading those comics are looking surface level.
Well, why did
Do
if
they
it
look-
was really about let's use Transformers. I resonate with the robots in Transformers. They're
Teenage
not
Mutant
even
Ninja
human.
Turtles.
Yeah,
Teenage
they're
Mutant
not-
Ninja
they're
Turtles
not
are
even
straight
human.
turtles.
Like,
Bro, the first thing that I associate with Leonardo is the fact that he's green, not the fact that he has a blue headband to distinguish him from the rest of his brothers.
or he's just a turtle, you know.
You know what? You know what's
He's a
funny?
mutant turtle.
If I thought like him, if there was ever a day where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had a comic book series and they took off their headbands, he would never be able to tell which one was.
Well, not necessarily.
No,
But
no,
yeah,
no,
I mean,
no,
it
no,
depends
no,
on
no,
the-
no. Based on his logic, if he thinks that how you depict
Oh, I
yourself,
get what you're saying.
yeah,
I get what you're saying.
if I depict myself as a certain color that has so much weight into like my culture, then if I took off my headband as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle and everybody had the headbands off, you wouldn't be able to tell who Leonardo from Raphael was. And to me, that means you don't know the character. The part that matters is who their personalities are. That's reflected in culture, not what they look like.
Like me.
You know who DDP is? One of the things, like, he's talking about, like, I represent the pride of my country, which is South Africa. I'm an African champion. And he's, like, against all these other people that are from African countries competing in the UFC, and they're like, you're not real African. Like, what does that mean? That's a nationality.
Yeah, bro, because he's not. Like, yes,
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even listen to what he just said. Someone in my chat said Colin looks 9% Autobot.
So I was making the argument that DDP, Driscus Duplessis, I think is his name, is a South African champion in the. I don't know if he's still the middleweight champion right now, but he's in the UFC. Other black African champions said you're not a real African, and I got through my point, and he said, yeah, because he's really not.
You know who DDP is? One of the things, like, he's talking about, like, I represent the pride of my country, which is South Africa. I'm an African champion. And he's, like, against all these other people that are from African countries competing in the UFC, and they're like, you're not real African. Like, what does that mean? That's a nationality.
yeah, bro, because he's not. Like,
What do you mean by that? What do you mean he's not a real African? How can you be born from Africa and not really be African?
Because he's not black, bro.
Exactly. It's because you don't think he's qualified because he's not black. That's racist.
Which
that's just
I was about to say that's stereotypical and racist to your
like that's actually
roots
racist.
where you
Like,
said you
yes.
grew up and from.
The nationality, yes, is African, but we're
Alright.
talking about your ancestors come from that soil, like recently. Obviously, science has proved that everyone originally comes from Africa, but on a level that we all understand, if you say you're African, your lineage is most recently from that.
Nah. There's no way he just said that, bro. He wants to talk about roots and then says, "Oh, so there's a scientific study that actually goes against what I'm saying," and then he keeps going with it anyway, bro. Nah, this guy's a he's a jokester. I ain't
This
gonna lie, man.
dude is missing the plot, gang. Like that's what I'm saying. After I watched this video and the other one, I'm like, I actually do think he's malicious. Like he's actually
Well,
crazy.
Sometimes sometimes you are just too stupid to understand that you're stupid, but
Nah, I think he's doing this on purpose. Like dead ass. Come on, dude. You can't. My chat's saying lost cause. It's like, dude, there's no way you think that is a proper way to go about life. To have like if you're, oh my, like DDP is not a real African because his heritage eventually goes all the way back to Europe. So by that logic, it's completely fine for me to say that I'm not a real American because my lineage goes back to freaking Africa. And
real
even
shit, bro.
oh my god, this dude's crazy, bro.
Continent, right? Because if in a South African white person, Elon Musk, whatever, were to come to America, they would not get treated the same way that African, that parent, his lineage comes from the continent. If he were to come over here, they would not be treated the same way.
That is completely fine because America has a race issue. We have societal issues related to race that other countries, it's not the same.
Well,
We have a
other countries do have the
Yeah,
same thing.
well,
It's
well,
not like
I'm saying they
exclusive
don't have
to
the
America.
same type of dynamic. We have a very strong connection to
Well,
how
yeah.
white people and black people are perceived in this country. So if Elon Musk comes over as an African, he's obviously going to get a different experience, but that does not take away Elon Musk's African, like he's still African. You can't take that away from him just because he's white and you don't like how he would be depicted if he's over here. Like that doesn't make sense, bro. Like that's his race privilege. That's not his culture privilege. That's not the fact that he's African that he gets to have these benefits. It's because he's white. That's it. If you wanted to make that argument, but again,
Because of his skin color. So don't try to, it's really dull of you to think that that's not a separator from the two. Yes, they can be from after the continent, but the fact that he has white skin complexion shows the difference.
it shows
the
the
difference?
difference in how society can look at him, but it does not change his culture. What you're talking about is a race-related problem. That's not culture. Just because Elon Musk comes over here, he just all of a sudden becomes not African.
Well, yeah, obviously, bro.
Oh God, here you go.
Critique. It's not a skin color. Like you're really mad that he's just
Yeah,
white.
aren't most isn't it South Africa?
I'm not mad that anybody's white. I don't know how you feel about it, or projection.
It seems like you would be okay, maybe not mad, but you would probably be a little more acceptable if your favorite
Comfortable, I
hero,
guess, would be
yeah,
the word.
if your favorite hero, which is Spider-Man, didn't turn out to be a white person like Ben. You couldn't enjoy or fully embrace him because you had a slight disconnect because of the fact that Peter Parker wasn't looking like you. But if he did look like you definitely would have a different tone. Because all your
And I
arguments
think-
have been race.
I think if it was the inverse, right? Like if I was to make the argument for Miles, this guy would probably say it's racist. Is that crazy to think?
No, I don't. I don't think that's crazy to think at all because, I don't know how. It's crazy how we're this. How far are we into it right now? We're
I think
halfway.
like 30, yeah,
We're
like a little
halfway
bit over
into
halfway.
this, and he told us at the start, "I'm going to dismantle that every same thing that we said." And I feel like the longer he talks, he just doesn't do a good job at explaining how we were wrong.
I have good friends that are white. Like some of my best friends were I grew up in a very
brother.
diverse area and grew up with white friends, black friends, literally everyone from every culture. So don't put words in my mouth, bro. Like,
Like there's a lot
I
of
didn't put any
white
words
thought.
in his mouth. What? I don't think I put words in his mouth.
I don't. He would be talking about me in that situation. But again, your friends being whatever race doesn't matter.
It is, but it's still African. It's like me right now. If I was to say, yeah, I'm an African American. No, I'm not. I'm a Black American. I was born in America. I'm Black, but I'm also American. I am not from Africa. Like historically,
Like,
sure.
like-
you know what would be really funny if like his friend Ben came on this react to this video with him and like
I
listen
don't-
to him
yeah,
like,
I
his
don't-
arguments.
I don't know. Hey, it would be a tag team duo. It'd be me and you versus him and Ben.
damn, bro, relax. I mean, that had a little bit of a tone to it. Like, at the end of the day, you know,
What?
they can't tell the difference, buddy. All right.
He's talking about me getting passionate in the argument and talking about the fact that like I'm not African. I'm just a Black American. And then he's saying like I reacted to it very strongly when I said that, so I must have been like triggered.
They can't tell the difference. It seems like you want to dissociate from being African so bad when, you know, historically and lineagely, like you can trace your ancestors from Africa.
I have no problem. It's obvious that I can trace my lineage back to Africa. But when people try to talk about my culture and call me an African American, it doesn't make me mad. It's just a sentence that doesn't make sense. It's a stupid thing to say that I'm an African American if I'm not from Africa and have no cultural connection to that place. I don't practice African. And there's a lot of Black people like me that if you were to tie yourselves back to that that motherland, you could not do it. I've tried to take an answer. I don't know what type of African I am, and I'll never know that fact with 100% certainty. And I'm okay with it, but it's like I say it to say like it does not make sense. I'm Black, but I happen to be American born and American raised. I don't know what it's like. If I went to Africa today, I'd struggle. Doesn't matter what I look like. I would struggle if I went to that country because I don't have that nationality. Like I don't have that. I don't speak like unless they speak English. I'm pretty sure. I think
It'd be the
A
same
lot-
to go anywhere. Like if I moved to Japan for a year, my life would feel completely different.
Yeah, it would be a complete culture shift.
Even if I moved to a predominantly like white country, like if I was to move to Russia, like it would still be the same thing.
Exactly.
Like your life would just be completely different.
Exactly. Like I don't see how that's hard to understand. I can be Black and not be like African, dude.
Okay. So I don't know where that came from, but if you don't want to acknowledge where your lineage comes from and be proud of that, that's on you.
It's weird to be proud of something I've never experienced in my life. I've never worn a dashiki. Nobody in my family has ever worn a dashiki. We don't have customs and practices like y'all. Like, bro, I grew up eating ramen noodles. I don't know if y'all have ramen noodles over there. I don't know y'all's customs. Like, I'm Black, but I'm not like y'all. And there's a lot of like even in America, my Blackness is different from another Black person up in Philadelphia. I live in Tennessee. We don't have the same life either. Or down like even in this country, this state. If I go to, I live in the suburbs. If I went to another Black person that's like in an urban environment, like downtown Memphis, or like I go to somebody that lives like in the rural parts of Tennessee, we will not have the same cultural connection. We will look the same, and that's where it stops. So no, I can't be prideful about that. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. Like other than what I've been exposed to, but that's not in my family like that. We don't practice anything like that. So I don't see how that's hard. Like you just said you're Italian. Do you like do something that's like super integral to being Italian? Or like a Filipino?
Wait, what happened? I'm sorry, I was texting somebody.
No, I was asking like, do you have anything that like strongly connects you to being Italian or Filipino in your daily practice or like your customs, anything
Besides
like
the
that?
food I eat, no.
Again, it's like I don't know. I don't see how that's a difficult point to understand.
Yeah, I think when they say African American, it's like your blood or whatever.
I know, but that sentence no longer, like, it doesn't carry any merit now. If you can have someone that's actually African American and they're white, like that. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
All right, okay, we're gonna go ahead.
I honestly think Khan doesn't know what he's saying. He's just trying to get through the conversation. I don't think he really gets it. I think Colin's making some conclusions in his head and actually putting shit together. But that's his friend, that's his boy, so he has to just adhere to whatever he's saying and just continue the video, and continue validating his, the nonsense that he's saying.
What? What is he talking about?
He said with the fact that you were like, wait, what specifically did you say? After I got my point off?
Okay, we're gonna go ahead.
I honestly think Khan
Actually African American and they're white, like that. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
All right, okay,
He said, I get what you're saying. And then he's like, nah, he don't really get it. That's basically what he's saying.
we're gonna go ahead.
I honestly think Khan doesn't know what he's saying. He's just trying to get through the conversation. I don't think he really gets it. I think Colin's making some conclusions in his head and actually putting shit together. But that's his friend, that's his boy, so he has to just adhere to whatever he's saying and just continue the video.
Okay,
and
then I'll
continue.
just say what he meant right now. I mean, he literally just said it, so it's not like maybe I'm cheating here, but like what Sony just said, like he doesn't have those roots. And like I just said, if I was to move to Japan or something like that, it's like you don't resonate with those things because you're not actually from there, so those roots aren't that important to you.
Yeah.
Pretty simple to understand, but I guess he's just my boy, so I'm just running along with it. I mean,
Hey, bro, W agreeance, you know what I'm saying?
Validating his, the nonsense that he's saying.
Hey, what do they do?
How long is this video?
Beyond the Black Panther itself,
Yeah, it's not long.
Wakanda represented. For years, so
I'm gonna
many
skip this, we've already talked about it.
anywhere else on the planet, and people that did not need to be saved. They were a formidable force, and that meant something to me. Not because Wakanda was real, it obviously wasn't. But representation suddenly doesn't become meaningless because it's fictional. Sometimes fictional is exactly the place where people first see themselves portrayed with power, dignity, and possibility. You're probably asking, okay, what does the Odyssey have to do with this? The Black Panther and Odyssey are both considered made-up stories. Obviously, the Black Panther is, and then the Odyssey has gods, monsters, supernatural events that can be debated. But there's an extremely important distinction between these two situations. Black Panther was not created in Africa. Black Panther was actually made in America by
Okay. This is going to be the crux of my disagreement here. It's not about the fact that who created it and why they created it. To me, it really boils down to the type of media it comes from. Black Panther as a comic book is not the same as the Odyssey, a purely written format literature with no visual provided to have the same emphasis on who should be casted in an adaptation for it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just think that's crazy.
Well, even then, like the comparison to Black Panther doesn't really make sense, regardless, because of his reasoning for why he resonates with Black Panther so much. Because if you're resonating with, like, obviously, I don't know, obviously we haven't finished the video, but like, is his argument that he can't resonate with the characters in the Odyssey because they don't look like him, or they do look like him, and it doesn't make sense that they're there, even though historically speaking, like there were black people in that part of the world in that time period.
See, that's my second point. I would say, like,
Colin, you would know if you actually watched the entire video, but your friend here won't really doesn't care about
that's
you
why
actually getting as much context as possible.
well, I think you're about to explain it, but
Yeah, even still, I have the other video pulled up because he says a bold-faced lie in here that I want to show all y'all, like everybody on stream. I'm about to cook this guy so bad.
someone said what I missed. I just got here. If you just got here, you're just gonna have to rewind. Honestly, you just gonna be confused at this point. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
the fact that there are even black people in that time period is irrelevant due to the fact that the story itself, if I'm making an adaptation, like this is not Homer's Odyssey, this is Christopher Nolan's Odyssey. If I'm making an adaptation of a fictional story, I'm allowed to create, like I can have creative liberty.
Whoa. Before you get into that, bro, you got a little too much dip in your chip. I mean, there's plenty of people, historians that have verified that it wasn't completely fictional. The Odyssey has some verified historical facts. You already jumped to conclusions here. It's been debunked that everything about the Odyssey is completely fictional. So you're already jumping to make your stance on something that already has a weak foundation because
even if you want to run with that, what are the factual elements that discredit race swapping?
Yeah, that's the easy question.
Do you want to bring that up? Like,
Me?
Do you want to show that?
Or
No.
you talking about
I'm asking him. Like,
Yeah,
because if you're gonna make that argument, then like bring something to the table.
yeah. It's funny because I literally have it pulled up already of what's her name? Helen's actual description in the Odyssey. Just for people that said like I didn't know what I was talking about by reading it. Like I've read the Odyssey. I know how they describe Helen. So I'm going to show you exactly what she's described as, and you tell me if she could not be black in there. But
the fact that you're already saying that it's just fictional and you're talking like it's concrete shows that you already made a stance on something that can be debunked.
With that interpretation, however I want, as long as I don't
So debunk it. What? You can't. You can't say you can debunk it and then don't do that. Like what?
no, it's cool because I got my own receipts. I can show you what I mean. I'll tell you exactly what I mean.
Respect the core
later.
fundamental aspects of the character. So if I'm reading the Odyssey, I don't know if anybody's like read the Odyssey, but there's not a description about a character that forces that character to have to be a certain race. Like they don't have to be a certain race in the Odyssey in particular. So to have that expectation that they have to look Greek is crazy to me. Because again, like I've seen so many plays, I've seen so many movies. Like have you ever seen Romeo and Juliet?
I've seen Nomeo and Juliet.
Yeah, no, but you ever seen the Leonardo DiCaprio version?
Not, but what I wanted to say was like about your point about like literature. So like you ever read To Kill a Mockingbird?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like obviously you can still
You realize that he didn't pause and engage in that part of the conversation because he knows he does not know anything about the Odyssey. If he had something to say, like in the literature or the text about the Odyssey, that would have been a great point to like bring up and tell me why I'm wrong. But he didn't do that because again, he didn't read.
He still put racial things into literature, but from my understanding, I don't think. Obviously, I haven't watched the Odyssey, so I'm not gonna say that. But he hasn't exactly. Maybe he will, but he hasn't exactly said anything. Let me just finish the video actually, because I just want to see what he says, and then I'll make my point. Actually,
Americans who took the cultural aesthetics, traditions, imagery, and history as an inspiration to create Black Panther and Wakanda. And I'm honestly grateful that they did. Because even though Black Panther was American-made, there was some attempt and effort, especially as the character evolved to the big screen, to treat the African culture with some level of respect. It wasn't perfect. Africa as a continent, containing thousands of cultures, languages, traditions, and histories, can't be represented by just one film.
Okay, this is my problem. To me, he's already completed the biggest issue for me. Black Panther as a comic book is not the same as Black Panther as a movie. Are they the same character? Sure, but the film is an adaptation. That is not the original media. If I was to critique all of the things that Black Panther the movie does that is not essential or featured in the comic book,
Yeah, the film is an adaptation, but they literally made an effort to keep it as close to the source material as possible by actually casting African people in the movie, getting the the cultural and just the aesthetics very close and accurate to the book,
Okay, pause.
and bringing the
So can you, because you keep like, where is it that shows that these casting choices cannot happen because it disrespects the literature it's adapting? Can you provide that? And if not, then your argument is dumb and you have nothing to stand on. So.
Yep. Exactly. Because again, if the original media, which is a comic book for Black Panther, it shows black people from Africa, then it makes perfect sense to have that depicted in a film. But if I go to the literature and I don't see anything that details and specifies any racial depiction, then it would not be a disgrace or any disrespect culturally, even if that was a cultural term, but it wouldn't have any impact on the story. Like it wouldn't degrade it or make it distasteful, and he's acting as if it would, and that's
African culture in a different light and a possibility that wasn't shown to the world beforehand, showing people that yes, it's a fictional story, but with these resources and just these technological advances, Africa is capable of making cool, stories like this and having something of their own that doesn't just represent them as impoverished and weak, right? It doesn't matter if it's fictional, because like I mentioned in my video, sometimes fictional is where people and cultures, countries are, get represented in the way that they would like to be represented and perceived.
there's nothing
for the
wrong
first
with
time.
what he's saying.
So you
right
can't
here
invalidate
for
that
me.
fact that
He's
because
just arguing against nothing. We didn't make that point.
Yeah, we didn't say anything against that.
it wasn't correct, it wasn't accurate to the comic book, Marvel did a pretty decent job of depicting Wakanda in a respectable manner.
So this is what I'm trying to say. If you were to adapt Black Panther, the comic book, and do it accurately, you could not say the film is a perfect adaptation because they made creative liberties to the character. I'm pretty sure if I was to go back into the comic book and look up images of what the Wakandans look like, they may not have looked exactly like we saw in the film. By that metric, that's not completely accurate. I'm not saying it takes away from it, but it's not completely accurate to the source material. If I'm adapting a movie based on a comic book, there are ways to make that unique, and they did that. That's what I'm trying to show you. So if I'm doing the Odyssey, I can do the same thing, even more so, because all of the information about the Odyssey is only in written format. There's no pictures with the Odyssey. And if there are, it's not by Homer. It's interpretations.
Point that it represents the African people.
Talk about how it's not, let's say, the most accurate thing or the most stringently represented thing based on what I see in the comic book. It's already different. It's already an adaptation. That's the whole point. If I adapt something, I can make it different. Now, how different I can make it should be, in my opinion, embedded to who the character.
But like I said, you can't compare the Black Panther comic book to the Odyssey. Okay, that's a completely different ballgame. Me personally, I mean,
What?
So why did you?
Yeah, like what? Nah. That is the stupidest thing he said so far. Like, genuinely, what are you talking about?
Like, do y'all not see the hypocrisy? I try to tell y'all.
This guy is not real.
I tried to tell y'all at the start. And even if he didn't bring that comparison up, I would ask, why couldn't you compare the Black Panther to the Odyssey?
Wait,
I can make comparisons and tell you how they're different and similar.
Fuck.
What?
My stream just ended.
Your stream ended? You want me to keep going? Or you want me to wait?
Hold on. I don't know why my.
Did it end as in it's like over, or can you reconnect to it?
It just stopped.
Oh, damn.
I hate when it does this shit.
But hey,
Yeah,
to my
just
chat, while he's trying to fix that, this is just like me showing y'all. I was not crazy. I was not crazy. Like, the more this guy talks, the more I'm just validated in like my original point. Because I thought he was going to prove to me, like, I'm going to dismantle everything that they're saying. I'm going to show you that
Hold
they
on,
didn't get my point. Huh?
I'm gonna restart my PC real quick.
All right, no problem. Then I'm going to show you, again, how they did not get my point. They misconstrued it. They should have watched the whole video. So as we are watching this stream, how are y'all feeling about my ability to talk about his point? Am I missing him? And y'all can be honest with me. Because I really don't think that I'm missing his point at all. I think he's missing his point. Completely. Like, completely. He literally said DDP is not a real African. Oh, okay, hold up. While he's fixing his stuff, I can bring Nobu in here. What's up, Nobu? How you doing, gang? I can't hear you if you're talking.
Yo, my bad. Give me a second.
All right, what's up? Hello?
Yeah, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, what's up?
Listen, this guy is fucking just, oh my god, he's so retarded. So here's what I was gonna bring up, right?
Yeah.
Because I think I have a little bit of an interesting perspective on this, because my dad's Nigerian, my mom's Portuguese.
So your dad's Nigerian and your mom is Portuguese.
Exactly, right?
Okay.
So basically, tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right? In the Odyssey, aren't all the people that were casted just white? They're not even Greek. They're just white.
Well,
right?
In the movie, not all of them are white. There's an Indian guy and two black people. Three black people, but Zendaya's mixed. So
yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but they're not Greek. No, they're not Greek.
Exactly, right? So is he arguing for proximity to whiteness? Because there's no relatability for a Greek when they see it's just white people, right?
Yeah.
So what's his argument if it's just white people on the
So
screen, it's not Greek?
he thinks that he is arguing for culture. He thinks he's arguing for Greek culture. Yet every time he brings up this topic, he uses race. He's using race as the backbone for it. That's why it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point, because it's just like none of the people that are even casted are actually Greek. There's no respectability as far as like accuracy.
I can look it up just to make sure. Who in Christopher Nolan's Odyssey is Greek?
Yes. Wait, Sony. When we get back to the video, can you replay what he said about the Black Panther comparison?
Yep. Okay.
What, the stream started over because it crashed for some reason. I don't know why.
The film was shot in Greece, including locations. Greek American actor Michael Vlamis reportedly obtained. Oh, that's Nobu. Reportedly obtained a minor part, but no Greeks occupy leading roles. So they're all white, but not Greek.
I was saying your mic is echoing.
I know it's Nobu.
No, I know. I was talking to Nobu.
Is this still echoing?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Oh, you said to replay the Black Panther part?
What's up, Zeno?
The Black Panther comic book
Yeah. Run it back.
to the Odyssey. Okay, that's a completely different ball game.
The whole point, if I adapt something, I can make it different. Now, how different I can make it should be, in my opinion, embedded to who the character.
But like I said, you can't compare the Black Panther comic book to the Odyssey. Okay, that's a completely different ball game. Me personally, I mean, that's just something I connected to that I use to see. Okay, hey, if a comic book can make me feel connected to my culture in this fashion and have some pride in it, then how the hell couldn't these people of Greece feel connected to such a notable piece of literature that's in the curriculum of people here in America that everybody knows about? That's cultures and traditions have been depicted from this piece of literature that all these people hold.
Pause. So he not only hasn't showed why it doesn't respect the culture, only has brought up race, and says it's a weird comparison to Black Panther, despite him making that comparison to begin with.
Yeah.
You're not intelligent.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna
Yeah,
say.
yeah, my primary issue is that I wanted to point out like a flaw of like how he's even interpreting this, and it's even gonna reinforce you guys' argument. His whole point is the race thing, right? So it's just like the people that were casted in the Odyssey aren't even Greek. So it's like you're trying to make this point. Even Black Panther, right? Chadwick Boseman is not African. He's Black American.
Hold up, to his credit, he did say that he wishes Chadwick Boseman was an African actor. He did feel like something about that got stripped away from him, but he still said he did, like, he misses him. But to your point, I see what you're trying to say.
Because he doesn't make a criticism of all the white people that are casted in the Odyssey being white.
Exactly. And no one else does. No one else that's arguing about the casting issue has a problem with Matt Damon not being Greek or Anne Hathaway not being Greek. No one has an issue with them. The widespread criticism was on Lupita and a little bit on Elliot Page, but it was mainly Lupita being Black as Helen. So it's not a genuine argument.
It's not even an actual argument. It's just an argument based on race.
I'm gonna keep you in here because he ends up talking about you later. It's kind of funny.
How could you not see that? That's the point that I'm trying to make, and the fact that and why I could empathize with these people because they are emotionally connected to this story. And how
what do you mean? How do we not see?
Up.
We argued against the point.
Mo,
Like, what are you talking about?
Just because it's a point you are trying to make does not mean that was the point you made. You keep saying it's about culture, but every time you talk about it, you're using race as your backbone. You have not said anything about the story. You have not said anything about the characters. You have not said anything about the plot. You haven't said any well, you have said stuff about it, but it's super vague and non-confrontational and related to things not embedded in a performance. It's based on aesthetic. Because I can tell you many ways in how the Odyssey was very faithful to Greek tradition and culture. They have a lot of themes focused on Xenia. They talk about the Greek tradition of making your way back to home and home with yourself. That's one of the most central themes of the Odyssey. They talk about Zeus' law. What else? They talk about hubris, arrogance within oneself. Odysseus' disrespect towards the gods and their influence on his journey. Like, that is embedded in the core themes of the movie. And for you to not talk about that or have any dialogue associated with those themes means you don't really care about culture. You just care about race and you're too afraid to say it. Or you aren't afraid to say it. You will say it and just not realize how they're not the same.
is represented their country and their culture.
Is at the core level. Black Panther needs T'Challa to primarily be Black because that's a part of his plot. Like he can't escape that. Right? I would encourage T'Challa to be Black just because it's embedded in his arcs and his thematics, like who the character is and how he's portrayed. It would be heavily encouraged to make T'Challa a Black person. That's my only point. And if it did encourage it,
duh, because if Black Panther wasn't Black,
yeah, Ryan got. Wait, we're on the same. No,
Black Panther. Duh.
It sounded because... like he was agreeing with me saying Ryan Gosling for Black Panther.
Nah, but listen to what he says though. It is kind of funny.
If Black Panther wasn't Black or African, you think he would have the same impact on people in comics and just entertainment?
I don't really care about the impact that he would have on people, comics, and entertainment. I'm talking about strictly his story. If you make Black Panther not Black, it doesn't work with his plot. If there was a way to make Black Panther work and that not be such a central aspect of his character development, then I say go for whatever you want and people can argue about the preferences later. But that's not what I said.
I would say, well, even if you look at the Black Panther movie, his character arc in that movie has genuinely not like, I'm struggling to think of a reason like his actual race has an impact on his character arc in that movie. Like
I would say so.
The comics is probably different. I haven't read his beginning. I've only read one of his comic runs, but in his arc in the movie is about, you know, like bringing Wakanda to the rest of the world, and like not share or like not like and having this like pressure on this like leadership role. None of that like he doesn't have to be black for that.
Okay, that's where I would disagree because I would say one of the like the most polarizing aspects of the like what Michael B. Jordan brings as his foil is he represents
Okay,
the
yeah. All right, yeah. No, you're right. I'm not even gonna argue. You're right.
yeah because like
No, I get the point you're making.
yeah
I was thinking about it does in the sense of the like Killmonger, his parallel to Killmonger. Yes, that does make sense. But in terms of his arc itself, separate from Killmonger, him being black is not required. But Killmonger's in the movie, so yes, you're right.
I would say that Killmonger is a big catalyst though because you would think like the idea as to why T'Challa, because again, some things about the themes can be implied without being said directly. I do think a part of T'Challa's resistance and his hesitance to expose parts of his country to other people would have to do with the tradition of white colonialism and this aspect that things can be stolen and taken and like corrupted in a way that he would not appreciate. And I think Killmonger represents that aspect to say like, hey, you have all the resources to change something very inherent to people like me. And when he's saying like me, a part of it is country, but another aspect is definitely how he looks. So I would say a big catalyst is Killmonger's depiction as being a black man that's American, but black is central to it. So that's why I would say for that movie, it definitely requires him to be black because it plays stronger into the themes.
Right.
Yeah.
I hadn't watched it in a while, but as soon as you said Killmonger and I thought for 2 seconds, I was like, never mind, you got it.
Yeah.
Be dead ass. If they had a white Black Panther and there was just a fake society or whatever that was just all white people and they had all these African artifacts and aesthetics and it was the same storyline, it just wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't have.
You're right. But can you explain to me, Mo, why wouldn't it make sense? Because I think you can say it doesn't make sense all day, but not tell me why, because we would have two different reasons for saying
Well, regardless, how does that compare to the Odyssey? Like, what are you saying with the Odyssey?
And I think that why would fundamentally show you why our points are just completely different on this.
Have any allure because it's like they took the culture and just put it and use it as a costume. Part of the reason why Black Panther is so popular is his unique background and his character and the fact that he is African.
That's what I'm saying. Like if it didn't have that initial visual media.
Again, he says African. I'm going to say African and black because they're not the same. That's all.
And it didn't necessitate that he was a black person. I would say make Black Panther whoever you want Black Panther to be, but that's not who the character is. I would say that's like my biggest argument against that.
But you can see that there was an attempt to dignify the African people. Like just no pushback, nothing. Everything is a straight agreement. I guess it's what friends do, right?
Yeah, bro. You need to disagree with me more.
What the fuck does he want him to do?
Didn't we just
disagree?
No, I just think it's funny because I literally brought up a thing and then Sony was like, "No, here's why you're wrong," and then we moved on. Like,
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Okay, whatever. Oh wait, so thank you for the $5. I'll never understand how people make race their entire personality. There's no way you can be that shallow of a person.
I don't.
Yep.
Yeah, his worldview is consumed by this to some extent.
So me personally, with my friends, we're able to disagree on points and push back on each other, and actually, get something from each other from our conversations than just say, "Oh yeah, like you're right, bro. You're right." I don't know.
There's like, what's the point in arguing just to argue? If I think you're right about something and I have nothing to add or disagree with.
We literally just debunked
Like,
that in the conversation we just had. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't. Or whatever.
And also in the comics, there was an attempt to represent the African people with strength, dignity, beauty, and power. And I appreciate that as someone that is African. But the Odyssey is different. The Odyssey simply didn't take aesthetics from Greece and some inspiration. It literally came from Greece. This is a story that's been connected to Greece for centuries. It's sewed into their history, their mythology, their language, their culture, and the way ancient Greek civilization has been understood throughout the entire world. This story became so influential that generations of Americans have put this inside their curriculum. So when Greek people say they have a deeper connection to the Odyssey, I'm just really confused on why there's an issue with that and why.
First of all, oh my god, bro.
I know that's where I flipped. I was like, ain't no way.
You weren't even alive! What are you talking about? Okay, the fucking cultural heritage and the roots of it doesn't fucking matter. Like, what matters is the story and how it's told and how it's adapted. Most people weren't fucking even alive, let alone even if they're Greek and they're in America, like, they're not even from there. They were born in America, but they have Greek roots. Like, this
was the opener. This was the opener to his video, so I hope this argument's good.
All right, just watch.
you have to basically be living in that time period to care about your culture. That's from what Colin's saying here, guys.
Oh
If you have a
my
culture,
God. Yo, for someone who wants to talk about taking words and then saying something completely different or not what you actually said, that is crazy. Because when did I even say that? Like, rewind that back.
Okay. What you're saying too, or just him?
You could, yeah, just him,
All right. Oh shoot. Oh dang.
Even if they're Greek and are in America, like they're not even from there. They were born in America, but they have Greek roots. Like this argument.
so you have to basically be living in that time period to care about your culture. That's from what Colin's saying here, guys.
Okay.
If you have a culture,
Yeah, that
you
is not what I said at all. I mean, we even said this earlier in the video when he was like so pressed that I said that he didn't live in Africa, despite him saying that not saying that in his video. But regardless, bro, for you to be saying like in the same video like there's this disconnect and blah 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 blah. If you are not actually from there, right? You have a complete like you may have roots of that culture and your family may bring that culture around you, but it's still like just the life you live. Like if you live in America, for example, or even a different part of the world, like not from Greece, like you are just going to fundamentally have a different thing. So there's not this, not enough there of a connection with you unless you are from there for you to like have some crazy disconnect just because there's a black girl in the movie.
No, but what's
Like-
your take on it since you have some ties to African nationality?
Yeah, right. So my dad's Nigerian and my mom's Portuguese, right?
Mhm.
So I was born here, but like my parents are from different parts of the world. This argument is so stupid because it's like, and you guys are, I'm pretty sure you guys are already aware of this, but like, his argument is based off of Helen being represented as black in the movie, and it's like it's not clashing with any phenotypical description in the book, and it's like if the issue was representation, then like why, like white people, for example, like his issue. So the crux of his argument is that representation should be a focus in cinema.
Well, he's
right?
saying
And-
cultural representation should be a
Exactly.
focus in filmmaking.
Yeah, which that's completely contradicted because he keeps bringing up race. and
Exactly.
culture, but-
When we keep
Um,
going over that.
Yeah, so it's just like white people have, if this was so important to him, right? If you think critically, like white people have been represented in most of media for all of time, right? Across like most media, right? So it's like if the representation part was an issue, right? Black people haven't been represented as much, right? So implementing a black person as a character or casting a black person as a character from a story where Helen isn't even described as being black or white or Hispanic or isn't even described, she's just described as being like beautiful, right? How is this an issue?
I want to add to that. So in his original video, when he was like talking about the accents and stuff, that would just go back to what I said about like you didn't live back there. So like if you're Greek, right, and you live in America, why would there be this crazy disconnect because they're not speaking in a specific accent? Because you're Greek and you live in America, you speak a different accent. It's like, so why is there such a big disconnect?
Well, you know what's actually even more funny about this? He ends up saying later, talking about the accent thing, that my problem was the fact that they didn't have Greek accents. I just wish that them speaking in modern English didn't make it seem so American made. And so what I would say to that, if you aren't telling them to speak in Greek accents, what else would you do to make it feel like it wasn't American? How do you tell with language that you're from a certain place outside of an accent or dialect? Like, what would you expect them to do? Just communicate it like with like, let's just write our notes down and just show the camera. This is what I think. Like they would have to use an accent. So you say I don't want an accent to be used. Like I don't need them to do Greek accents. But again, you want Greek accents because there's no other way to do it. Like give me a different solution, Mo. Jesus.
Oh,
Jesus.
you weren't living that time. You should not give a fuck about how it's adapted and represented in modern media. That's from his logic. That's what he's saying.
It makes no sense.
Like people only treat, I don't know what it is, but it's like whenever a movie gets made, people act like a movie is not
Yeah.
an art form. How many times has the Odyssey been adapted into a play, a cartoon, and people have made like casting liberties on making Helen a Hispanic or Jewish or whatever, because it's not about like Helen is not written to be specifically a certain race. That's not embedded into her character. She's supposed to be the most beautiful woman in Troy. That's her character. Men will go to war for Helen. That's the whole point of her depiction. It does not necessitate that she's a certain race. So if you can have plays dance around with her race when you cast Helen of Troy, like you see it in plays all the time when they have an adaptation of any famous.
I literally said in the video too, and if you continue to watch it, you guys would have had some of this. Maybe might probably would have agreed with it. The fact that Clark Kent is white, and if we were to make Clark Kent, and I'm not talking about, you know, the other iterations of a black Superman, Val-Zod. No, I'm talking about Clark Kent, the one from Kansas that came from Krypton. If they casted a black man to play Clark Kent, you're telling me you would be okay with that, and you wouldn't feel some type of emotional trigger for them changing his.
Pause it. So I wouldn't feel an emotional trigger per se. That's what I would say. In general, I think race swapping, because I mean, using the Odyssey again is just such a dumb thing because there's not even a race swap because her race isn't described.
Exactly.
So, but besides that, race swapping in general, to me, my stance is like, if it's true to the character, if the race is not important to the character, then it's like, I still think you should stay true to the character, but what's more important to me is how it's adapted and the writing, right? So like, if they made Superman black,
Be
whatever.
specific, Clark Kent.
yes, if they made Clark Kent,
Clark, yeah, let's just go with that. Clark Kent. If they made Clark Kent, if they made him black, I would be like, all right, that's kind of weird, but whatever. Fuck it, we ball. Now, adding to that, right? If they were to race swap Superman and then start adding like what's it called? Like racial issues, right? Because Superman already has like racial issues implemented into his character, right?
Yes.
Like the fact that he's an alien and people already look at him like that. So like there's already an aspect of discrimination that's represented within Superman.
Yes.
Right? So like even then, like it would still fit,
Yeah.
right?
Listen, all this ties down to is here's the thing, right? When a character is represented a specific, because like in the comics, for example, right, Superman isn't white, but he's an alien, but he's represented in a way that depicts like he's white, right? So it's like when people see that a character is depicted a certain way, for example, like Helen of Troy, like throughout all of history, she's been depicted as white. So I get that certain people would have an immediate like emotional like, oh, that's weird.
No.
It doesn't match
no.
the image.
No. I disagree. Because Helen is depicted as white as an adaptation because in her original
No, I was getting there. Yeah. I was getting there.
Oh, okay.
I was saying that people remember her, like, as she's been depicted throughout history, because it's not a fucking picture book, right? And the Odyssey is literally, it's not a picture book. You never see how Helen of Troy is depicted.
Mm-hmm.
And she's never even described as being white. But people associate how she's been depicted and adapted over time as, oh, she should be white. Right, and that's just how people's brain generally works. Like their default of a hero or a character or an integral character or something, or a beautiful woman is a white woman, right? And that's just how people think, but that's not actually.
Even then, I wouldn't even say like if you're looking at it from the lens of be like, oh, well, she's beautiful and a black woman can't be beautiful, that's racist. But like,
Yeah,
if
that's racist
in your mind if in your mind you hear beautiful and you don't think of a different race, and that's just your subjective view on like what you think is beautiful, it's like that's not racist, but that's a subjective view to have, and that's fair. But you can't treat it as like some issue to get upset about because she is that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got so here's my take on it. My issue is that anytime that you were to bring up like the race of a character when they come from an original source material that had pictures, it is always going to be harder for an audience to adapt to that new visual.
Yeah.
Even if I got the race down to a science, people argue all the time over how Spider-Man's costume looks because it's not the original source material. Have you, like, Spider-Man's costume, not his race, not how he's depicted, it's because it already had a visual. I know what Spider-Man's supposed to look like because I've seen it in his original source. If I change it, I may like it more, I may like it less, but that's that comes with the territory. That's what makes comic books fundamentally different from the Odyssey, because they have different representations. Comic books is like a picture book. I can see what these people look like. So it's obviously like I can understand someone seeing a race swap in a comic book character and being a little put off. I can get that because I know what this character is supposed to look
Yeah,
like.
it would be
That's
like
it.
it would still it would be off-putting to see, or like weird to see, like make Clark Kent. Why do I keep doing this? It would be off-putting or weird to like for them to make Clark Kent black, in the same way that it would be off-putting and weird to make, even if you kept Spider-Man white, to make him like this big muscle jacked guy, like before he gets bitten by the spider. Like it would just be weird to see that.
Yeah.
Like because you're used to something and then they change it for no real reason. And yeah, that would really be the only difference.
You guys
But-
also notice how certain race swaps in media is not even talked about, but certain other race swaps, even if it's like a few insignificant characters or less significant characters, are just like, it's just outrage.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
there's even people that complain that Netflix's Daredevil isn't ginger. Like,
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Like if I made if I made the Little Mermaid, and instead of me casting like Haley Bailey, like I made her white, but I made her a brunette, people would be upset. Like I get it. Like it's not about the fact that it's a race swap. It's about that people already have a connection with the visual for this character. Like, and that's to be expected. All I'm saying is it's way different if you've never had that original source material that gave you a visual for you to start complaining about how I want to depict my character racially.
it was even weird when they changed the actor for Rhodey in the MCU.
Yes,
It's like
people were like,
you're
"What?"
used to- yeah, it's like you're used
Bro,
to
and
how
here's the
he's
thing,
how he
Greece
looks, and then they
people-
changed it.
It's not even like Greece people are like on the internet
Grease
rampaging.
people.
Nigga, Greece people. I mean,
Yo,
like,
These greasy
like, yo,
people,
like-
bro.
like Greek people aren't even like rampaging on the internet about how inaccurate. It's mainly people that aren't even.
yeah,
fucking
it
Greek.
is. It is most like grifters, like people like Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic, like people at that.
All right, I'm gonna let them keep going.
Appearance. This conversation about the color of Helen has been debated and whatever, but at the end of the day, if the Greek people depicted Helen as someone that came from their culture, which is primarily people that have more fair skin, that can be tan, there is a difference between having an African darker complexion woman playing her than someone that is more to the complexion of their people
Again, easy. Her culture does not have to do with what she looks like.
now and back then. Especially if it comes from their culture, they're talking about how they viewed themselves. This came from Greece. They're creating these stories from how they depict themselves.
One more epic that doesn't need the character to be a certain race. They'll ask whoever, as long as you can act the character.
Yeah.
The character.
Well, his whole argument, like if his argument is that it doesn't make sense that there's a black, like, is he gonna say that like that there's a black character in the movie?
Yes, he doesn't talk.
And see, we see Colin's brain working a little bit here. I think Colin's more of a critical thinker than Sonny Symbiote in a sense, because he's actually just trying to gather more information and context before he makes these conclusions. But Sonny Symbiote does not care, bro. He just wants you to continue validating his argument. Literally.
Damn, you heard him, bro.
How y'all feel? How y'all feel about me, man? Am I not a critical thinker? Do I not think for myself?
Nah, I guess not, bro.
Dang, man, that's crazy. I didn't know I didn't have my own thoughts. Oh well.
The fact that Lupita is black and that Elliot Page is trans, and like it literally does not. It doesn't matter.
Well, first of all,
But I never spoke about that in this video. I literally never said that.
Okay,
You-
this is the part I
Like
want
again,
to
if
show
you watch the
you.
video, I literally said that they were barely in the film for me to even critique. And as someone that's big on just being authentic and not trying to grift and have fake outrage about shit that doesn't even matter, I gave my honest assessment. The fact that since they were barely in there, and that was some of the controversy before, I'm not going to speak on that because it didn't overall it didn't affect the movie. But you're over here blatantly lying that I talked about that in my video.
So here's my thing.
No,
like,
no,
if
no, 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 no. No.
Okay. All right.
Y'all watch it then. Since he didn't say that, let's see exactly what he says.
Movie in the way that we anticipated it would. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and pretend that those individual casting decisions ruined the movie when in reality they didn't even really matter in the film. But here's the thing: that doesn't make the larger conversation irrelevant. That actually makes and strengthens the criticism because
So it doesn't matter, but it strengthens the criticism. So was I lying? Because I'm tired of you telling me that I did something that I didn't do. You explicitly say right here that just because it doesn't matter for the movie review, it still strengthens the criticism that they don't respect the culture faithfully. even like that is, how am I lying? If your point is about cultural representation and you talk about how, yeah, it didn't really affect my viewing experience, but it does strengthen the criticism that they don't care about cultural representation. How did I lie? Tell me how I lied. Chat, tell me how I lied. Tell me exactly how I lied.
Also, literally, I just looked it up. There were transgenders in ancient Greece. So
There were also black people in ancient Greece. I don't get this
yeah,
argument.
yeah, well, yeah. It's both of them. It's both of them.
So did I lie?
No, you didn't.
Exactly, bro. Like, this dude is so, oh my god.
And the cast wasn't even Greek, so
He's
what is he complaining about? I just don't get
Well,
it.
let's not bring in the trans thing because the Greeks were some Greeks, right?
Black.
Exactly. That really what it boils down to.
No, not even meaning
You're not wrong. You're not even wrong.
even meaning like the Greek. They were some freaks. Okay, let's not like act like that's out of the picture for Greeks. Okay. Second of all, they're literally like black people were around in that time. Again, in that part of the world. So your argument already fumbles flat. So not only is our race not important to the character, but it also doesn't make sense because there literally were black.
So because black people were around back then, that means that they were in certain areas as well too. Like that's who these people were depicting in their stories. Like, did they blatantly say that there was an African or black person in the story?
Did they blatantly say that there
Yes.
was a white Caucasian person in the story? Same thing, dude. Oh my god. Like, okay, I'm gonna go over the description of Helen because I did pull this up first. The only thing that it says that you could denote about her race is that she is called white armed, but you have to understand the context of this using Homeric like language is that this was a description to describe noble woman, implying pale skin and refinement, which was often linked to higher status and leisurely life. It was not for race. It was not to say that her race was important to her depiction. You can't, my bad, my chat can't see it, but they call her white armed. That's it. That's the only thing else. Everything else, beautiful haired, long dressed, implied incomparable beauty. So if I can have all of these other descriptions about what Helen looked like, how does this tell me she has to be a white woman? How? It's not even important to the story. That, like, literally her merit comes from being so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, let's just even run with the argument. Like, let's say literally verbatim it was like, "Yep, she's a white woman." Like it said that in the book, and they still race swapped her anyway. Isn't like if the crucial part of her character is that she's just beautiful? Like that's still subjective.
exactly. Like if it's not important to how she's depicted, it doesn't matter. Like at all. If they do a good job playing her, they do a good job playing her.
Like,
Like
they
I could
describe-
I could look at a girl and be like, "Damn, she's a baddie," and then another guy could look at the same girl and be like, mid." It's like, it's shit, like that kind of shit is just completely subjective.
Yeah.
did they blatantly say that there was an African or black person in the story? Like, did they describe them to a T in their stories?
Did, by the way.
There. So you're wrong on two fronts.
I agree completely. You want to let it play some more, or you want to?
Is that his argument?
He kind of goes into it some more, but yeah.
Is that the crux of it? I mean, I don't want to not
I
be
would say
fair,
crux,
but
yeah.
if that is the argument, then yeah, I don't really think we need to watch it.
Bro, you don't want to not be fair, but this entire time you weren't being fair. You didn't even get past. You didn't even get to the intro, bro.
I've been so not
didn't even
fair
get-
that you can't refute my you trying to refute my points has been bad. So
To the intro. So it's so funny that you're saying, yeah, I don't want to be fair, and you're trying to have a more analytical approach about, observing what I had to say and getting as much context. Now, when the entire time you didn't care to do
I think
that,
I've got
you
the
already
full
had.
context, and I still think your arguments are terrible. So
Yeah, I've listened how far are we in?
we're about done.
So we're 53 minutes in, and we still think you're stupid.
These preconceived notions about me and my opinions.
More of it. Again, maybe he clarified his point, but we are 5 minutes into the video and he hasn't said a single thing that makes genuine sense, or is that like a good take? I would say. So that's
Is that just not indicative? Is that just not indicative of how brain fried, Gen Z is? And I'm Gen Z, but I don't claim to be like this. I mean, if I'm gonna make a video, I should at least do the service of watching the entire thing
we
beforehand.
gave you the service. We're
But he literally just
53
said,
minutes
we got
in
5
and you're
minutes in,
still
guys. The
done,
video
so.
is 20 minutes. And he thinks he has it all figured out from 5 minutes of me building up my thesis.
I'm trying to be like fair to him. I can't like remember. I can turn up the speed. How about I do that? 'Cause he doesn't.
well. The only thing he said that has made sense is that you don't need a character to look like you to resonate, but his words contradict that. So
Yeah.
I'm also like I'm trying to be charitable, but I also can't be charitable.
That's pretty much it. So he basically used Black Panther to say like I would be upset if Black Panther wasn't black, basically. So it's like why is it that when Greeks are complaining about their media, I guess not representing Greek people,
It's not even
like people have a
Greek
problem
people.
with
It's
it?
just like people
like
like
again,
the critical drinker or like Nerdrotic. It's like, bro, you don't know shit. Like, shut up.
yeah, it's crazy. And then he goes on to talk about like the dialogue, the fact that they have American accents, and this is where I brought up my point about
Aliens in movies have
like,
American accents.
Exactly. So like I don't know if you've ever seen Leonardo DiCaprio's Juliet, but that movie is notorious for the fact that it does not have the Shakespearean like dialogue. It doesn't use like iambic pentameter, whatever. They talk like normal modern people. It's not even taking place in like some like no, it's like a city. Like Leonardo DiCaprio smoking a cigarette. Like it's they got cars. Like it's not.
The reason why they spoke in regular English language, modern language, is the fact that a majority of people are not absorbing Shakespeare and the cadence and how they speak in Shakespeare, like in the book. Like if you read Romeo and Juliet, Thou, all that, like most people are going to get mentally tired of trying to decipher what they're saying. Wait, that's why they didn't use that. And if you, like I said, watch my video, I didn't say that I wanted people to speak Greek. Okay, I said that I would have wanted at least something that would show me that I'm not in America. Okay, some type of cadence, some type of rhythm, you know, that we see in movies all the time, where they're obviously not in America, it's English, but they have some type of cadence, some type of like dialogue where it's, you can differentiate it from
It's called an accent. You were asking for a Greek accent.
modern American English. That's all I said. I'm not Greek. How the hell could I understand Greek and want that? That would just be me just bullface lying and trying to be a Greek person. It's like, no, I said that the modern English
We didn't
took the
even say that.
We
We didn't even say that's what he said. He was asking for Greek language. We literally said accent.
version of being outside of America, like and being in ancient Greece. That's what I said.
I would say
Romeo and Juliet was like,
so like Romeo and
it still
Juliet
works.
Yeah, but Romeo and Juliet, regardless of the period or the place that it takes place, Romeo and Juliet is a story that can happen anywhere in the fucking world. So if you adapt
Exactly.
it in that way, it doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that the characters and the story is in line with the adaptation.
Exactly. So I guess
It's the
I
same
would
thing with
show
like
you.
Bonnie and Clyde, like GTA 6. Like, are we gonna sit here and nitpick GTA 6 because they're doing a Bonnie and Clyde story, but it's not 100% totally accurate to Bonnie and Clyde? Like,
So I'm gonna show you what he says about the casting.
One of the things that I actually mentioned in my previous video that I was really concerned about was the overwhelming amount of star power that distracted from the culture and the actual story. This cast was filled with some of the most recognizable
I'm
people in
sorry.
Hollywood.
What? The overwhelming star power distracted from the story?
He said a culture in the story.
You're
And the
gonna
culture
hate
is-
this.
What? The characters are what make.
Yeah.
Bro, you have good actors portraying characters.
Just fake outrage. I'm pretty sure it's Evan. What I'm trying to say here. The
He just trumped you, bro. He just hit you with a Trump bomb, bro.
Fake outrage, bro. What are you talking about? That
This is
statement
fake
was
news. Fake
brain
news.
dead.
This is fake news.
star power and all these people that we
So
are household
dumb.
names was something that did take some of the immersion out for me. It did.
Okay. Yeah,
Every
that's
time I'm looking at this
stupid.
character-
Like, what?
Menelaus. No, I'm thinking that's the Punisher. Like, I think he was playing Menelaus. I don't
Bro.
remember.
How is that?
Yo,
I know,
yo,
I know.
yo,
It
yo,
gets
yo,
terrible.
Yo,
It's not even
this
a
guy
criticism of the
is
movie.
It-
It's like
this
I
guy
know.
is a different breed, bro. Nah,
Dude.
he's different.
He's a
for
lymph
sure.
noodle in the brain, bro.
Like, Telemachus. I'm looking at Spider-Man. Tom Holland. Okay, that's just my opinion.
What?
Sometimes these characters.
Bro, I'm watching
Can
the
be-
Batman, bro. All I can see is Edward from fucking Twilight, bro.
Watered
Bro,
down.
even if it's just your opinion, like that's just still like
Yeah, that's not
it's
great.
nothing but funny. It's like
Yeah.
literally all it like you're just it's a funny thing to say, and if it's a genuine criticism,
That's
of
not
what
a
it is-
genuine
Bro,
criticism.
the Uncharted movie, all I could see is fucking Spider-Man, bro.
Well,
Like,
well,
what
you
the
can make
fuck
that
is
you can
this?
make that argument for Uncharted because he is kind of just acting like Tom Holland and not Nathan Drake, but
That's funny.
That's a fact. That's not something that can't happen. And that was just my opinion on it. Like, that's what it did to me. I don't know nothing
Okay.
about Menelaus and or understand his character from
Good
that
for
from
you,
the
man.
Odyssey, or really get a better understanding of Telemachus because Tom Holland was the guy playing him.
You want to portray. If the actors portray those characters in a good way, how's that distract from the story? If anything, that should make you more invested in said story because the actors are making performances so believable that it gets you more invested in the story. All right, we don't need to watch the rest of the video because you skipped 15 minutes in, and then the first thing I heard him say was that. Like, bro, what are we doing? Well, let me ask you.
I don't
Is,
care about the character
is there a
being
point in the video where he actually makes the argument that this character,
Here
or
he
this
goes.
actor, or whatever is not being portrayed?
And here he goes again. This little voice in his head is like, damn, we've only watched 6-7 minutes of a 20-minute video, and we made 38 minutes of, you know, misconstruing what he's saying, making our own conclusions about what he's saying without getting any context. Like, is there anything else? But your friend Sunny Symbiote, deadass won't let you get more context, but he just won't let it happen. Because if he were to let you watch the entire video, or what he should have done is just let you watch the
Why am
entire
I
video
thankful?
first before you guys did a live reaction, and then you could have made some more arguments and stances that could have had some type of merit towards mine. But you ruined all that because you were too lazy to actually watch the entire thing first.
Accurately.
I
Like, in
can
this
try
in a
to
writing
say
sense?
no. He doesn't.
Depends on his context of the argument. Like he just keeps. It's a circular argument. He never deepens his argument. He just kind of just responds just to respond.
well, the funny thing is the question I asked. It's oh maybe if you watch the video, you don't do it in the video. Like the question I asked, like does he actually? Is there a point in the video where he actually looks at the performance and be like, this wasn't accurate? Like if I was to look at Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and look at how he acts in that movie, I would pull up the panels from Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, or the original Stan Lee and Ditko run, and I would compare how Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man acts when it comes to how his interactions with like Flash goes and his personality, and I'll be like, look how different Peter is. He's not so much of a pushover. He's less so like dorky, but like he's obviously still dorky, but like he's not a pushover like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was in the first Spider-Man movie. So
But this guy doesn't do that with the Odyssey, so I don't really know.
It's purely just based on the casting. Like this is literally called celebrity casting right
plainly
here.
lying.
And then he goes on to like the dialogue talking about the fact that they don't have the right what is it, accent or language or whatever. And then his argument that it's just fiction. He's basically trying to put in a counter argument. Like people say it's just fiction. That's not even my counter argument. My counter argument is the fact like it's an adaptation. You're allowed to like that's basically what the video boils down to.
This is even the problem with people criticizing adaptations. It's like, because an adaptation can take something that was good and make it better, or do something different and still make it better, or just go on its own thing while still taking inspiration from what it's adapting. So if you're making this kind of video, and you're not even criticizing the actual like writing of the fucking adaptation. You're just complaining about the casting, or like you've already fundamentally failed starting this video.
I honestly think that when people make
Before I get to this dude Nobu here,
So he didn't even.
like I
Oh my
said,
God! Wait,
this
wait, wait! Pause! Well, hold on. Play it real quick.
video wasn't analytical, technical, critical, like in-depth review
Okay,
of
so
the
you're
movie, The Odyssey. It was to
nope.
share my
Nope.
point about how
Nope.
the commercial.
Nope. If you're gonna criticize the adaptation and make this argument based on the casting, you have to look at the thing it's adapting and criticize how. If you really want to make this adaptation criticism, you have to look at what it's adapting and how it actually goes about doing that in practice. You fundamentally failed. What do you mean it's not this analytical? That you have to do that if that's how you're gonna criticize it. Otherwise, your video just sucks. Like, shut up. Genuinely.
I don't know, bro.
commercial success of The Odyssey doesn't matter because it still doesn't address the criticism and the issue with cultural erasure. And why, over time, especially with Christopher
Show
Nolan
what it erased.
putting his foot.
What did it erase?
That's
What
what
is
I'm saying.
it
Like
erasing?
if he talks about anything related to the story, the theme, I could agree with him and say, oh yeah, that part of the culture was erased. That's a more healthy conversation to have. But all you're bringing up is Helen, black, language, not Greek, like accent wise. Jesus, I gotta
here.
clarify.
And his
black characters, bro. They butchered
reach and power, how this affects the preservation of culture in the future. This was not an Odyssey review, but you would know that if you watched the entire thing, bro.
I know it's not an Odyssey review, but you're using this to talk about cultural representation, Mo. You can't talk about race as the backbone for your cultural representation argument and not say anything about the characters, the story, the plot, the themes, the arcs. You said nothing of substance with how they depicted Greek people. You said in how they showed the actor's skin color and how they talked. You fundamentally, like, you're a dunce. Like there's, dude,
You really would
really
know
is
that.
nothing else to say.
like there's
Other
nothing
than that.
else.
arguments about surface level things like this. It's just because they don't actually care that much about storytelling and the things that actually matter. Like that's the shit that actually has substance,
And
right?
that's why
Whenever people
hold on, sorry.
exactly.
Like, that's why I make so many videos on like grifters and people that like nitpick and try and pick apart stories for political reasons. Because you're not actually engaging with the media and the story that they're trying to tell. All you're interested in is the
Exactly.
political aspect of it. And I hate
Because actually analyzing and actually dissecting like what makes a story good or what makes characters good is actually kind of hard. You know what I mean? Like it actually takes like some sort of brain power.
It does take some type of brain power. That's why I didn't speak on something about the Odyssey and get into depth with it, because that's not my main
because
point.
you
I
don't
did
have
actually
that?
have a bunch of a great foundation of my thoughts and why I empathize, and all those stances are valid because it was my personal experience, and you can't refute my experience and how I empathize with a group of people. And yeah, you're right. It does take some brain power, and I can see that you definitely got some brain power, buddy, for sure. You definitely got some brain power, my guy. Yeah,
What does that
that's for
have to
damn
do
sure.
with it? It's not even me. It's just a picture of kids.
It was still funny, bro. That was funny. Oh my god.
Criticizing a movie because two characters are black is like the most brain dead. It's just and like Sony said, right? It's not even contingent. Like Black Panther is contingent on the characters being black, right? Like it's literally way more contingent. With the Odyssey, two characters being black does not do anything to the story, right? It's of way less significance.
Quick pause. Do y'all know how to fix like your screen starts flickering while you're streaming? What is that about?
It's probably your capture card.
Ah, okay.
And propping it up to be like such significance when it's not, and just like not even criticizing the actual writing and the storytelling. That's what people do when they're just too low. I don't say lucky. I think people are smart. I think people can just be lost sometimes. But like,
For someone that claims to be intelligent, you're talking from a standpoint of not even getting any context. You just came into this video. You haven't even watched the video to make an actual critical thought and a stance with actual basis. You don't even know if I said that in the video or not. You just went off and
I literally watched the live stream for like 40 minutes. So, I mean, before I even joined.
Yeah.
made an assumption about what my whole point was, even though I never mentioned anything about the fact that there was two black people in the movie hinder it. I literally mentioned the fact that they were barely in it to begin with, so I can't speak on if it mattered because to me it didn't. But it's, there's people like this that will make an insult.
You said it didn't matter for your viewing experience, but that it strengthens the argument related to the fact
Yeah,
that cultural
what do you?
representation failed. So you keep saying for your own experience, but when you talk about how Greeks feel, you keep saying that they're valid for being upset that Lupita is representing Helen. That's like you're still in line with that like bigotry. Like you
Yeah, that's the argument.
like
Like you can't say, "Oh, that's not how I feel personally," but make a whole video about that argument. Like that's what you're arguing.
like it's not how I
You're
feel, but
arguing.
I can understand why they're upset. Like bro, you're
Yeah.
that's just as bad.
And Greeks, am I tripping? Like, are Greeks like upset on the internet? I don't see any Greeks complaining about this shit. I just see like people like critical
I see
drinker and
some Greeks, but those Greeks would just be racist. And if they're talking strictly about how Helen is depicted from a racial standpoint, if they're talking about her, the quality of her character and the acting performance, I have no problem with that because that's something that's actually integral to like the story being good. But a lot of people are just upset that she's black, which is like, okay, you're like, I get it.
And then try to take it back and say, "Oh, I'm not trying to be condescending or whatever," and then cover it up with this deprecating compliment of saying, "Oh, people just don't understand." When you stop being a coward and say what you're trying to say and say that I'm a dumbass because
Okay, I will. You are a dumbass.
We've said that a couple times.
I said
pretty
that.
sure.
it's just like the most. You just don't want to put in the effort to actually criticize the movie.
One of the things you said earlier about like media literacy and like actually engaging and understanding themes, psychological elements, character arcs on like more than just a baseline level, it does take a lot of skill and a lot of like actual thought. And it's not even just a skill you can just like gain just like that, like whether you go to like a college class. Like you have to watch so many different movies, you have to do your research on psychology, you have to do your research on you just have to live life in general to actually like understand themes and things in movies. And my
I'm alive and well.
Now I will say because
I don't know about that.
I will say as an English teacher, I do think you can understand how themes develop by going to school. I would just say
No. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying you'll have a deeper like
fair, yeah.
to really do it at like the level that like whether it's like I don't know to pat myself on the back here like my Spider-Man 2 video or a lot of like video essays on YouTube like a lot of these people have a deeper understanding of film as opposed to someone who just went to who did got like a major in English. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
So on that logic, I should have some understanding of themes because I'm a person that's alive and well and has had experiences, watched a ton of movies, and has thought about films on a deeper level
Then do
and
it.
more on an analytical level than how it made me feel. So, but you're just making shit up.
Well, you
are
didn't
you
give me
talking about?
you didn't
Yeah.
talk about the themes in the Odyssey at all. You said
Just-
nothing about the themes. You didn't mention Zeus Law. You didn't mention Xenia. You didn't mention what is it, Nostros, hubris. All of these Greek traditions and cultural like these are terms that come from Greek. Like the social dynamic, how they treated strangers, how they felt about hospitality. All this was central to the film. So if you don't talk about it, you sound like somebody that just has a problem with like you're just a race baiter. You just sound like a grifter. That's it. Because you didn't say anything of substance about the movie.
I have fucking ADHD, severe ADHD.
Yeah.
It makes it so hard to analyze these things. So when I see people that are like just normal and they can't do the bare minimum, and then they look at shit like political and so surface level, I'm just like, you should not be making videos about movies. I'm sorry, like you just.
Colin, bro, I have ADHD, dude. Like, why are you talking like you know me, man?
I wasn't even talking about him.
I just could not
specifically.
tell.
I said I was talking about people.
Yeah.
Exactly. Most people don't even understand shit about story. Like most people just feel. Like a lot of people feel, right? Like if a gameplay system is good, or at least the presentation system is good. If like how the movie is conveying itself. Like a lot of people feel things, but they don't actually know how to interpret what they're fucking seeing. So like it's so easy to grift and like complain about shit that doesn't actually have any substance because they don't understand the shit that actually has substance.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
He did actually review like the movie, like try to do it on a like critical level without talking about the
It was funny. Sunny Symbiote was in the background, like, oh shit, they're going in on this dude. And my intuition is saying that, damn, we might have taken this a little too far because we're arguing points that he's never made. And before it gets too bad, I mean, let me give him a little crumb of and an opportunity to show that he was thinking about it in a different way. Like, it's too late, bro. It's literally too late.
Yeah, and then
You
we,
should've
wa-
thought
and
at the
then we
beginning.
watched that section of
Kevin,
the
do you want to
video
see
and
that
came
part?
to the same
Why wasn't
conclusion.
He doesn't talk about the story.
Yeah. Hey. Can y'all head the video, quote unquote, because someone just dropped me off a package and I got to dip out for a second. I can link this to y'all. I feel like we've covered a lot though. If I'm
Yeah,
being real,
I
I
honestly-
feel like
I
we've said
think
what we
from
needed to say.
Yeah, I think we have been going. The stream has been a lot of circles, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel
I
like
feel like if you want to end it here, like end this video.
Yeah, I'm
here,
good.
We can do that.
So,
fine with that.
Mo, I'm sorry. I didn't live up to my promise. I did not watch the whole hour 15 minutes, but I did watch up to an hour and 6 minutes. So hopefully that was enough for me to at least get a crevice of what point you're trying to make. But I just want to end this off by saying you absolutely have to be one of the like most limp noodle brains I've ever talked to on this freaking platform. Like, you do not know what film adaptation should be. You keep talking about culture, but using arguments about race. And again, you keep contradicting yourself without realizing it. So if there's anything for me to say, I don't know, bro. Just go back to school. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm gonna end stream. Appreciate y'all for watching. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Jesus Christ, this guy.